mass rape, it's all mere bullshit. It's all, this witness swears up and down they totally saw something. This witness, who is a genocidal Israeli with tons of financial incentive to lie, definitely said that. There's like 4 or 5 of those. Half of them have been, or like basically all of them have been shown to have been false. People making shit up since then. Then there's like 2 or 3 testimonies that the Israeli government made up and provided no evidence for during the visit of the UN, which was an investigation. It was like a UN mission or whatever, because the Israelis don't allow them to investigate this. The fact of the matter is, if there were mass rapes, the Israelis would be allowing them to investigate them. They don't do so. Do you know why? They did not happen. And if there was a real investigation that looked for real evidence beyond just Israeli government provided witnesses saying so, they would not find fucking anything. The Israelis themselves admit they do not have a single victim. They don't have a single victim. A mass rape without one fucking victim to point to? We fucking know you're lying. So anyway, the cases that he cited. One is someone who claimed that they were raped as a hostage in Gaza, not on October 7th. That's the only actual fucking clip. And Hassan says this here as well.
Over a rape victim when there's Israeli.
Dude, you don't give a fuck about rape. Look, what are you doing? Look at what you're doing. I never said that no one ever got sexually assaulted in captivity.
First male rape survivor of Hamas on October 7th.
In the video.
That's him reading off the headline that I just talked about.
The video,
a man who was stripped naked.
This guy's such a fucking moron. He like, Hassan's like, yeah, I acknowledge that case, but it's not on October 7th. You're talking about October 7th. He just starts reading about something else, which, by the way, I just debunked. And the other one, the one that he cited during his idiotic content nuke or whatever, Ethan loves inventing rape victims who don't exist, just to let you know. Wait, did I put this? I think I put it in my video. Wait, I need to look at his video to go over this part. Content nuke, here we go, folks. Man, was this ever a bomb? God, there's so much to go over here. So look, I'm not gonna show the evidence for this because I'm honestly, this is taking so fucking long. Point is, the testimony that he showed in his video was from a former Israeli hostage. This Israeli hostage, when she was initially released, she said verbatim, the Hamas treated us like goddesses. They wouldn't even touch us. They would put like a cloth on their hand when they had to touch us. You know, they treat women like queens. Then months after that, because she got backlash for that, she got absolute, like, people threatened to kill her for saying that. So 3 months after that, or something like that, she surfaces in this Sheryl Sandberg documentary, Screams About Silence, claiming that rape was everyday rape, every single day. Sex slavery was a normal experience of a hostage for female hostages in Gaza after she was pressured by the Israeli public into doing that, because she got huge backlash when she said otherwise. And curiously, she makes sure to clarify she wasn't talking about herself. She saw other hostages being raped. That was it. So everyone else was a sex slave, but not her. You know, sex slavery was normal. Okay? And then none of the other hostages ever corroborated this. You know why? Because it was made up. Because she is someone who honestly recounted her experience upon being... So I want to move on to the next topic because I have so much fucking shit to go over. Jesus Christ. I want to go over the Anne Frank thing as well. The Anne Frank thing was absolutely fucking absurd. Didn't fight back. That's what he fucking said. Probably the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Oh wait, wrong video. I gotta say that it's very...
And now explain...
Where is it? I'm pressing
And
back.
now explain...
Here we go, okay. The Anne Frank one is so stupid, man.
Claim they're doing it on behalf.
I already made a video about this, by the way, because Ethan Klein has used this talking point before. He says that Anne Frank's story is inspiring because she was a pacifist who saw the good in people, even though they were genociding her.
It's interchangeable with Israel. Many of these people, including Refat
Do you think he's like Anne Frank?
What?
Do you think he's like Anne Frank?
Oh, of course, absolutely. He has withstood genocide. He has withstood genocide by the Saudi government.
Is that the only?
Of course I do. I think that but my point that I was fucking presenting. My point that I was fucking presenting.
Anne Frank is famous for being a pacifist and seeing the good in people despite a fucking Holocaust that took every member of her family but her dad. That's why she's inspiring. This guy went on Twitter and said, fuck Jewish people.
Would be less
okay, first thing. Anne Frank isn't... The story of Anne Frank is not an inspiring story. It's horrific and and fucking horrible. It's absolutely... It's sad, horrific, horrible. It's not inspiring. There's nothing inspiring about it. The only reason why the story of Anne Frank is famous is because by chance her diary survived, basically. That's it. That's it. Nothing more than that. The diary of a little girl in an impossible situation facing basically an inevitable doom. She's not famous because of what she wrote. She would be famous for anything she wrote, she would have been famous. The point of it, it's like a story of basically just like inexplicable mass murder. A child murdered for no reason whatsoever. That is the fucking story of Anne Frank. There's nothing inspiring about it. It's fucking sad and depressing.
Hardpoint. All
Anne Frank
targets
isn't
declared
famous because of her
hostile.
political
Happy hunting,
thought.
Crimson. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
In the Holocaust as a child. That's the point.
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
If Anne Frank had taken up arms, maybe she would be alive today. And she would have been justified in doing so. Obviously, fighting the Nazis was fucking valid, especially Jews fighting the Nazis. Like, what a fucking joke. The thing that makes Anne Frank a notable story is not that she didn't fight back.
Firing if she somehow was able to get out of the...
Hassan gets these talking points from me. Hassan gets this from me. Like, Hassan watches my videos off stream. I fucking see you, Hassan. I fucking see you, Hassan. We see you, Hassan Piker. We know
Hello, everyone.
We know where you're getting this from. We know that you indulge in the bad empanada in secret. This is what you watched.
Go over another ridiculous talking point from Ethan Klein's content. Puke. Haha, I'm very funny, aren't I? Oh. In my defense, that is at least a better joke than any joke Ethan Klein has ever made. So in this video, Ethan Klein claims that the reason why Anne Frank is admired and thought of and mourned so much is because she didn't do violence in response to being genocided. Let's watch.
Withstood genocide, right? Like he is a person whose only experience is it's literally like talking to fucking Anne Frank, basically. Okay, being able to talk to Anne Frank. in real time.
To quote Anne Frank, I keep my ideals because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart. And
Jesus, was she ever fucking wrong? And are you ever proof of that?
Frank
I'd just like to be clear, Anne Frank is wrong there. The Nazis who massacred her and her family were not good at heart.
continues to inspire generations of people because in the face of a genocide that eventually took her and her...
Who was inspired by Anne?
Yeah, there's nothing good about the Nazis. Heart, brain,
entire family's life, except for her dad.
They thought they dressed good, even that was not good.
And violence. And then there's this guy.
So I want to be very clear here that what Ethan Klein is implying there is that what is like important about Anne Frank's story is not that she was like this little child who tried to hide from a genocide and was eventually found and tragically massacred by genocidal Nazis for nothing more than her race. But it seems that Ethan Klein legitimately is implying here that if Anne Frank had like actually fought back, if she had hated the people who were trying to massacre her and like everyone who happened to share an ethnicity with her, that would have delegitimized her, that she would not be famous or anything, that would have delegitimized her, that she would not have merited being famous or anything, and that it's like delegitimizing for people who are victims but who do hate their oppressors and who do want to fight back against them to do so. So basically the implication...
The funny thing here is that I thought I was pointing out a contradiction in his logic here, but he actually did double down on this during the stream. This is actually what he believes. He actually thinks that if you're being genocided, you should not fight back. Literally, he argued that. I want to apply that logic to Israel, though, because he often claims that like Israel is justified because Jews are oppressed around the world. But then, wouldn't the IDF be fighting back then? And that can't be justified, though.
Someone should ask Ethan,
Pacifism
like,
is inspiring, not violence and strength. Right?
how
Ethan,
he feels Anne Frank
oh my God.
would think about what's going on in Gaza.
Then she would have deserved it. That resistance to racial genocide is bad, and the only virtuous thing to do in the face of it is to not fight back and just sort of hide or kind of lie down and just hope they don't come for you. I guess he really hated resistance groups who fought back against the Nazis, who didn't lie down. That seems to be his mentality.
It literally was. And this, by the way, Hassan Piker. I know Hassan got so many of his talking points from me. Hassan just got so many of them from me. That and others as well that I saw, he got them from me.
It was like, I want to kill Germans and hang them. Yeah.
Arms against the Nazis? Would you say that Anne Frank is bad for that? Say Anne Frank is bad for that, Ethan.
For something that didn't happen?
Would be bad if she took up arms against the violent Nazi occupation. Say it.
It wouldn't be the same, for sure.
Oh,
you're right. It wouldn't be the same. It would be fucking better. God. I wish she had fought back. I wish she had fought back and tried to escape. She might have survived.
She's the same. Why wouldn't it be?
She's famous for being a pacifist
No, she's fucking not.
seeing the good in people despite living through a Holocaust. You understand that?
Oh my God.
That's
If
not what.
Anne
Let me show you.
Do you think that if Anne Frank
Israel isn't.
Do you think that if Anne Frank took up arms against the Nazi occupation, you would call
Israel
her
isn't
a bad
occupying
person?
Yemen anyway.
What?
Israel's not occupying Yemen.
Israel isn't. But for every single country in this region, American imperialism is all they
You
have
say the Saudis.
Okay, does he keep to where does he get to? There's a part of this where he complains about Anne Frank. He's like,
Show you this, okay? You've been talking and talking and talking and talking. Very good. Let's watch this.
Do you condemn the ask you a question very clearly and very deliberately. If Anne Frank
Just like Anne Frank, by the way.
If we had the internet
fucking moron.
during the time of the Holocaust and Anne Frank posted about this is what we're going to do to the Nazis, would your analysis of Anne Frank change
Yes,
even
of
a little bit,
course.
even an iota?
Yes, of course it would, because she's famous for being a pacifist, not tweeting out death to all Zionists.
So if she tweeted "death to all Nazis," you would hate her? It's like if a child hiding in an attic tweeted out saying "death to the people who are trying to genocide me and my family," you would think she was a bad person.
She's famous for seeing the good in people, not fucking tweeting out that we want to nuke Israel. What do you mean?
I would not give a fuck. I would be loud and proud going, hey, that's what she said. That's what we're going to do to the Nazis. Fuck yeah, girl.
So after watching that compilation, you still agree that he's just like Anne Frank?
Did you not hear what I asked you?
I'm just summarizing.
Yes.
Okay, very good.
Anne Frank died before she could resist. But if she did, I would never hold that against her.
She was fucking killed in a concentration camp, you psychopath.
But if she did...
Holy shit, he's so fucking dumb.
Family, her dad's the only one that survived and recovered her journal. Are you fucking mad?
Ethan, right? Would you hold that against her? Would you hold that against Anne Frank?
I wouldn't hold it against her, but she wouldn't be the same historical figure that said, despite my family being killed in concentration camp and everyone being murdered, I'm still a pacifist that sees the good in people. What the
That's super fucking stupid. If she said that, she's a fucking moron, honestly.
What's so confusing about that? Not kill Zionists, not nuke Israel, not a pipe through Zionist assholes.
I can't believe...
If Anne Frank had said, kill Germans, kill Zionists, a pike crew Nazi, kill Germans, kill Nazis, a pike crew Nazi asshole, she would have been very justified in saying that. And it's fucking ridiculous that he implies otherwise. Like, when I made that video responding to this point in his content nuke, I legitimately thought that, it was just a contradiction in his logic, but he doubles down on it here to the extent that it's not. He's just that dumb. Holy fuck, man, that's so stupid. He just has a blanket anti-resistance position, unless, of course, it's the IDF. And, according to him, you represent the poor, oppressed Jews with trauma, in which case you get to do violence, you get to bomb hospitals, you get to do whatever the fuck you want. Fucking idiot. Okay, last thing for this long-ass stream is I have the fucking pleasure to announce that my pawn, iDubbbz, at my command, literally made a video laughing at Ethan Klein for the CPS thing. I am so fucking happy. Finally, someone is talking about the CPS thing as it should be. How do I know this, even though I clearly haven't watched it, given that it was uploaded during this stream? And I've been here the whole time, so I clearly haven't gone and watched it because I told him to make it. Remember that. He's at my command. I'm the one behind everything bad happening to you, Ethan. It's me. It's all me, Ethan. Anyway. So here, iDubbbz talks about the CPS thing. And he talks about it as it should be. As Ethan Klein, for some fucking reason, talking about things that would absolutely concern any reasonable person regarding the welfare of his children, just to fucking tens of thousands of people.
Oh, I gotta watch the content deputy.
Mocking him for the fact that he has talked fucking openly on his stream about how his house is covered in shit and his kids keep eating this shit and they supposedly got a parasite from it, according to him. He's like, bad empanada, how dare you say that? How could you say that? Oh my God, bad empanada, he lied. No, I didn't lie. I just cited what you said on your stream. It's a funny thing too is
iDubbbz videos getting an average of 100,000 views an hour. For 4 hours, 100,000 views.
Me, he said I'm a wanted criminal and shit.
Don't step on this, dude.
And in response to that, I referenced something that he factually said on his podcast, which was, my kids are crawling in shit, they're eating shit, they have giardia. He said that. We're going to see that right here because iOS thankfully includes it because I sent him the clips. But it's good to see a normal person looking oh my God, people did a false CPS call on me. Here's the thing though. If this CPS call actually happened, which to be clear, there's still no evidence that he's provided that it actually did, it wouldn't be false. It wouldn't be false. It would be totally fucking justified based on what he said himself on his fucking show in front of tens of thousands of people. And anyone who talked about what he said on his fucking show is totally justified in doing so. So you act like fucking, if I went on my fucking stream and started talking about how my whole family has a parasite from eating shit, Ethan Klein wouldn't laugh at that. Yes, he fucking would. Ethan Klein would laugh at fucking anything I say. It's fucking normal. You're in a feud with someone and they start talking about embarrassing, oversharing bullshit that just paints them in a fucking horrible light. right after they make shit up about you, oh, fuck yeah, I am going to fucking respond to you on that basis. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have, if you didn't want people to talk about you eating dog shit and your family eating dog shit and getting parasites from it, you shouldn't have said in your podcast that you all ate dog shit and got parasites from it. Anyway, let's look at my porn iDubbbz talking about this.
Are about that. And then right next to that, right after it, you guys talk about me and Anissa. But you don't just talk about us. You shit talk us, and you imply that we're friends with people who are doing this, who are the ones who are harassing you.
Do you have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say that?
Random anonymous
Did I say that?
I have to watch the original.
This video came out so fast. This is
We're back.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Content Deputy. Now, normally in a Content Deputy, I would dance around in my cop outfit in the woods, but this video isn't going to have any of that fanfare. We're just going to get straight into it. I was hoping that if I made a video about Ethan, he would act like an adult and he would keep the attacks directed at me and Anissa. Unfortunately, I was wrong in thinking that because Ethan, in a desperate attempt to attack and smear Anissa and I, he started attacking our charity event.
I don't know if you know this, but last year they lost $250,000. To be charitable, you actually have to give money to charity, son. You have to give money to be charity. It's like a slush fund for them.
Ethan and Hila are well aware that we raised $1.3 million for charity the first year of Creator Clash. The second year we operated at a loss, and I take full responsibility for that. We did band together. The community and the fighters involved ended up raising $175,000 for charity. It's been really disheartening to see how often Ethan will attack Creator Clash through us or attack us through Creator Clash.
Ian and Anissa, masters of putting on an event.
He's reposting random troll accounts that are very easy to vet. If you click on this profile, it has a bunch of Sam Hyde adjacent posts and it just hates Anissa and I. Come on, dude, you're one step away from calling me a cuck. Just take the plunge. He's highlighting this post that equates Creator Clash to a crypto rug pull. He's saying the event is going to be worse than TanaCon. Can't wait for them to blame us for their failed event. Don't worry, Hila. I'm not going to blame you guys for anything Creator Clash related. I know you're terrified of taking accountability for anything, so that will rest solely on my shoulders. But I can't speak for the internet. The internet might actually blame you guys for it. Now, with this recent revelation that people are just going to use Creator Clash to attack Anissa and I have decided to step away from Creator Clash. We have relinquished control to our business partners who ran the previous two events. They're very capable. They know exactly what they're doing. They run events on a regular basis. The event is still happening. Anissa and I just don't have any financial ties. We don't have any ownership. We are, I think just going to be known as the founders of the event. Yeah, I mean, I think it had to come to this eventually. I can't keep my mouth shut. I can't, I can. I just didn't want to. I want to be frank. I want to be honest. I was very quiet during the second Creator Clash because I was afraid of how that would impact other people. This year, I said I'm going to do something different. I'm going to fight back if someone's trying to attack me. So that's what I did. And now I've realized, I can't really have my cake and eat it too. It's either you're going to talk shit like a foul beast on the internet, or you're going to have a charity event. It really can't be both. I'm very proud of the event that we made with Creator Clash. It's still happening, June 28th. I'm just not going to be involved in it. Please, for the love of God, support this event. I feel like in some ways I'm like cutting off an arm so that I could escape the bear trap and so I can fight. Well, that's a bad analogy. You guys get it. We've already told all the fighters, and it seems like most people understand that this is the best move. If the previous content cop was entertaining to you, or this video is entertaining, or you like the message, the best thing that you can do for me is to support Creator Clash. Buy a ticket, buy a pay-per-view ticket, an in-person ticket, or donate to the fundraiser. I just want to see this event do well. You know, I didn't try this shit because I thought I was going to be a good boxer. I didn't think I would be an awesome event organizer. And, you know, now I'm finally back to where I started, which is making fucking content cop videos. I don't want to make this too ham-fisted, but I kind of do want to make it ham-fisted because I'm like, I spent my last fucking 4 years working on this stupid boxing shit. I mean, it was worth it, absolutely. But, like, it's crazy that I've just returned to content cop. Having said all that, Creator Clash ticket link down in the description. Go check it out, buy tickets, support the charity, support the fighters, and have a good-ass time. I mean, ultimately, I think it's a good thing because I think I am meant to roll around in shit.
Dubs, go.
I think me and Ethan are both meant to be rolling around in shit all day long. And other people are meant to do boxing or debating or whatever else. Ethan and me, pig shit rolling around type of fellas.
You underestimate my strength! I've got kosher strength! The will of Allah! I mean Yahweh! Yahweh!
I think the worst criticisms I labeled at Ethan is that he's a bad boss, a tyrant of a boss. I just implied that he was being taken advantage of by people either in his community or outside of his community, and I called him a bitch-made coward. That was like the summary of personal insults labeled at Ethan. Before Ethan even knew what my video was about, he was already framing me as anti-Semitic.
But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I don't know if that's what the video is.
I'm one of you. I fucking hate Jews too, guys. Let's get after it. Israelis have no right to defend themselves, actually. All Israelis are settlers, actually. What is he going to give me a history lesson now? Is he a historian? Yeah, he just discovered empathy, by the way, and only extends to the point where you're actually talking about Jewish people or Israelis. Then empathy stops and they should all be murdered. Bro's actually out there like Timothy McVeigh. He's running to the closest fucking kindergarten to blow it up. There's a Jew. I heard there's a Jewish.
That's not what Timothy McVeigh did.
They want all you guys to quit and for me to just be like alone, little Jew boy alone.
Like Ethan under a year ago was saying
I think it's getting Timothy McVeigh mixed up with the Unabomber.
You know, my whole life I've never screamed foul on anti-Semitism. I literally have been getting this shit since the second I stepped foot on the internet, and I have never fucking ever.
Kaczynski?
Okay.
Ted
so
Kaczynski.
Saying, oh, Ethan's making himself a victim, or Ethan's
Still
making everything about anti-Semitism. I've done this once in my life right now. But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I don't know if that's what the video is.
I mean, I get that he's scared and offended, but this was the whole fucking point of my video. I was saying making this video in the first place. You were triggered by the CBS harassment thing, and then you immediately equated Antisemite to it. That was sloppy, and that was horrendous, and it was horrendous for us. And now you're doing it again.
I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, watch it!
I mean, I don't care.
But like, I feel like you're gonna get really emotional and say something you regret.
Well, that's a bad.
Like, I know you don't have fun taking it head on.
So ironic, it brings up the button.
You're understandably upset. I feel like it might be a little...
Little does he know that button's about to get exposed. Button pusher.
It's escalated initially live, and you guys were heated about, I forget what it was.
I think it might be wise to watch it.
Hey, actually, do you guys want to buy some pottery?
Respond in a calm way. Because there's no chance that you don't get heated.
I don't need the fucking I don't need someone else to hold my hand through it. I'm ready to take on anything that these people have to say about me. Actually, Ethan, the fucking fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys. I'm one of you. I fucking hate Jews too, guys.
You attacked us, so I attacked back, and now you're acting surprised and shocked, and you're doing it all.
Stavos put this perfectly when he was talking about his movie, which I haven't seen yet, which I should watch immediately, the Let's Start a Cult. He said that the funniest thing, you know, especially in that kind of situation of a comedy movie or, you know, is a dumb, confident guy. Said it himself. So Ethan is actually being hilarious, but it's more like laughing at him than laughing with him, because he doesn't know that he's a joke.
on your podcast live. So naturally, you reacting live is you having an emotional reaction and seeing things that honestly are scary.
I just said I vented about them not defending him. What the fuck is he like? He's actually losing his shit.
Hey,
and
incoming
I just can't believe it.
Should call him up.
So go fuck yourself.
I agree. Fair weather friends who are so happy to be friends as long as they get something out of it.
Ian sucks for the same reason right now. He could say something harmless. That's harmless.
Our POV is like fuck everybody, and I don't want to hear any.
Enemy field upgrade. Push through.
Never were, and never will be.
What's very insane about this content cop is I was thinking about Ethan's feelings so much in that video. I thought about the idea of like how I shouldn't be saying the term Zionist or Zionism in that video because I was like, he has explained before that he doesn't like that. You know, regardless of how true it is, I was like, I'm going to think about Ethan's feelings and not mention this. Fast forward to him reacting to my video, he's just outright calling me a fucking Nazi.
That Ian really shaved his head just before doing this video, and he's holding a swastika one. I mean, we could free Palestine without being a Nazi. Fucking Nazis. How about that? Well, this is the white savior, Ian, who's just found empathy, unless you're Jewish, of course.
Critique his podcast or be pissed off that he personally insulted you. Even that is enough to be called anti-Semitic. It's fucking crazy. And I don't want to talk about Hassan's sword. I don't want to talk about Hassan's sword because
Enemy field upgrade. Maybe I should not have spoke before entering him.
Do I think any of them actually like wanted to put a swastika in the photo? No, that's no. I don't actually think that. The chances that they did.
What are we doing here?
So I'm not accusing them.
I picked up a random sword in Hassan's room that was laying around. That could be the end of the discussion. You don't actually need to debate Hassan about the sword.
He left it up.
Decision making. But I'm not going to delete the photo because that would be indulging in your weird anti-Semitic fantasies.
We could free Palestine without being a Nazi. You fucking Nazis. How about that?
I'm done being nice to Ethan. I gave it a chance. My sincerity, my empathy in that last video was real. I was even equating to him having crash out moments in the same way that crash out moments.
Seth Rogen,
But he was
motherfucker.
using the video to suggest that I was making fun of mental health.
To my good friend of 8 years, I really appreciate you weaponizing my mental health against me.
To make Ethan crash out. He's having a very weird crash out. People can have crash out moments. Maybe Ethan's able to get some help.
We at the edge. Don't get hurt.
With me basically saying that other people are trying to affect you. It's understandable that you're going through this right now, Ethan. We all go through this.
Characterize anything
Archangel,
I'm
pressing
doing as
fire.
crashing out, that I need help, that I need to get some kind of treatment.
Requesting 1 kilo on my
On a
grid.
level I didn't think he would ever be possible.
God damn, the hyperbole that just comes out of his fucking mouth.
Take a break. When do we get orange slices?
Dude, it's like, you come on, man. You gotta know how fucking pompously dumb you sound. Like Stavo said, man, ain't nothing funnier than a confident dumb guy. Right now, we're looking at one. So he's funny, but not in the way he thinks he is. It's funny because he's confident, yet very, very dumb. Internet Today just put on. Internet Today just dropped one, but I gotta see. Dude? This Saturday has been like king of drops. iDubbbz. Internet Today just out of nowhere. Let's go. I mean, I know they like post 5 drops a week, but hey, they're still like the best newsmen on the internets. My newsman. I'll be right back.
smear me with was me actually pointing to something else that could be affecting you. He even brought up the clip of me saying, if you get help. We all need help. Everyone on this planet needs help. I don't care how you get it. You can wander into the jungle and go on an ayahuasca trip. I don't care how you get your help or what you define as help. But if it helps you,
but get it,
that would be good. Because right now it doesn't seem like you're getting much help. The main criticism that I was seeing online with my video from Ethan and Hila is that I didn't mention the CPS call.
There's really just one central point that I want to make here. My good friend Ian, in his hour-long takedown, did not mention one time Child Protective Services. Not one time.
There was not even 1 minute.
Crush him for this bullshit. Don't be charitable. I feel like he's gonna be charitable. He shouldn't be.
To us.
So, like,
without even explaining that at least that's the context, it's pretty cowardly.
I wonder why I wouldn't mention the CPS call. Could it be that the CPS call happened the same day that you were shit-talking me, and I didn't have any chance to defend myself? You just immediately, in the same podcast, right next to each other, said, CPS call was very traumatic. And then you said, fuck Ian and Anissa. And you linked those together, you kind of layered those flavors, and then Anissa and I got a bunch of harassment. We had nothing to do with the CPS call. What are all these fucking comments on your Reddit saying, like, it happened because of the CPS call? I don't entirely blame your audience for getting confused, because number one, it's a fucking cult, and number two, you can't even get the timeline straight. So if anyone's watching your dumbass, their brain is also gonna get scrambled.
Be friends as long as they're getting something out of it. So again, he's not showing the context. What was the okay, I'll play this part. Did you guys ever find the context of what I was talking about here? Because I feel like I wasn't even talking about him. I could be wrong.
I have no idea what I was talking about.
Like,
what an idiot! What an asshole idiot!
Anissa and Ian in that clip.
That's the same clip of
it's all the
when
part of the
CPS
same
was
clip.
called.
Yeah.
Same clip.
It's part of the same conversation.
You completely wiped your brain of what happened during the CPS stream. That's not my fucking fault. That's no one else's fault but yours.
All I wanted for you to do was say the bare minimum of like, hey, this is fucked up. This is not true about CPS, whatever, like the bare minimum. It came up because they were talking about.
Just do the bare minimum. Just release the hostages and we swear we'll stop slaughtering you.
On their fucking podcast, by the way, they're the ones that like started this conversation by talking about it on the podcast, be like, hey, I'm not getting involved.
I think that was their response after you guys initially called them out.
This is what I was talking about. You cannot have something terrible happen, be like, yes, let's make some content, and then shit talk your friends of 8 years.
I'm so fired up, I don't even know what to do with myself, which is why I'm crying on that. And I don't know if that's a good state to be in live.
That's that. Kind of spitting.
And a lot of the clips he uses is us fired up from the day that CPS came to us.
For anyone confused about the timeline, Ethan was talking shit about us on his Instagram before any CPS shit. He was also talking shit about us on his podcast before any CPS visit. On March 7th, CPS visits Ethan and Hila, and that same day, they decide, let's do our podcast, and let's have the topic be the CPS visit and how distraught we are about that. And then right next to that, right after it, you guys talk about me and Anissa. But you don't just talk about us. You shit talk us, and you imply that we're friends with people who are doing this, who are the ones who are harassing you.
Do you have evidence that H3 Snark called CPS on you?
Did I say
like
that?
Random anonymous Redditors?
Did I say that?
Wait, what's the...
I said
So
they're primarily responsible for harassing me.
Who called CPS?
What the fuck? So I don't know.
To be honest, I'm very proud that I didn't immediately jump to Ethan and Hila's defense, because when you look into the story, it actually looks a lot shittier for Ethan and Hila. And I do mean that literally. There was this H3 stream where Ethan was dumping as per usual. He was talking about his own health. He was talking about his caca breath, his dog having diarrhea, his dog having giardia.
Olive has giardia. It's a bacterial.
He's going all out. It's done, so.
Go.
His child running around putting things in their mouth.
Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
The whole family possibly having giardia.
Oh,
and now Hila has giardia.
Shut. For real?
I hope this has a million views before the day is over.
What can I do to not get it?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Because I'm not trying to get it.
No, it's extremely ridiculous to get. You have to ingest my poop.
talking about the viscosity of his child's shit.
And although meanwhile he is covered in viscous,
he's going, he's beat
viscosity.
iDubbbz. Bad Up and not iDubbbz watches your videos just like Donald Trump does. And Hassan.
Diarrhea.
He mentioned diarrhea a lot.
Crazy diarrheas like in the middle of the night. All the time he's having these crazy diarrheas. You wash your hands as best you can, but these are really nasty diarrheas. And then extremely foul smelling diarrheas.
So of course, Ethan, having made so many enemies over the years, other people react to his content. And when other people see that he's talking about his children getting giardia from dog poop.
Sonny's crawling around. He's putting everything in his mouth. He's at that age. He has giardia.
People are quite reasonably concerned. And so, yes, anyone who's seeing that content might be concerned enough to call CPS, including Ethan's own chat, which, by the way, is not a measly number. It's about 26,000 at the time of this stream. So there are 26,000 people listening to Ethan go into great detail over 7 or 8 minutes about diarrhea, viscosity of diarrhea, his child having giardia, him and his whole family having giardia. They're calling it the poop house. Now, what Ethan does, instead of taking any responsibility for sharing too much on his live stream, is that he decides to attack specific creators like Denims and say she was the source of the CPS call because her chat was reacting to Ethan and saying, wow, this is...
Oh my God, I hope he talks about the manipulation of that footage and the fact that Ethan uses that clip and says, this is the live chat, when it totally wasn't. And it was just like all those specific comments talking about CPS just put together badly, if you take a good look at it. Even Love was kind of like, well, the top right. And if you look at it, and then he keeps covering it up because he knows it's bullshit, but it fucks his argument. And he's Machiavellian at this point. He thinks his ends, the Jewish ethno-state, justifies the means, lying his ass off. Bucko.
His concern.
Please bring up the chat manipulation with Denims. He's got it, right? He's down with Denims. He's got it. Please tell me he does. Please. Please. Where's Sparks? I mean, even Bad Up and Out doesn't like talk about. I mean, I don't. Well, I mean, he doesn't care if that fucking if Denims. Even if Denims chat was every single person in there for an entire hour was like, call CPS, call CPS. Bad Up and Out would be like, someone should have called CPS. They weren't wrong, even if that was it. So that's probably why he hasn't gone to bat. But I would love to see, but the fact that Ethan's a liar and manipulates that shit is fucked. And it ruins his credibility. Ruins it. I don't know how he thinks he can get away with this shit. Does he really think his cause is so noble that even if he makes mistakes, it's kind of like, oh, well, that's fine because you're fighting the good fight. Fuck off.
Is on her platform right now advocating for our children to be forcibly removed from us by Child Protective Services.
The problem with this CPS thing is that Ethan has proven to be a manipulative piece of shit. So when he calls on me to defend him, what the fuck am I meant to do? I don't trust you, and I'm glad I didn't trust you because in your video defending yourself, you used a video that takes context from like 3 different places and combines them to make it seem like someone is coordinating an attack on you.
Love made a good point. You said, is this every comment? I believe this is a live feed of the chat. This isn't edited.
What about the top right? I thought these were
No, it's
selected.
this, I think when you full screen it, no, this is an edit. It's a cutout of the full chat. It's just enlarged there.
Oh, really?
Over the screen, yeah.
They're different, I think.
Yeah.
It's not timed. It's not timed the same way.
But it sounds like based on
He
this
brought
clip,
it up.
you knew that it
King.
was bullshit and you just went with it anyway. Ethan Klein uses this very deceptively edited video that is just like doing this smooth scroll to make it seem like that's all of Denim's chat. But that's not what it is. And then when he's called out on it, he hides it. He moves his window over the real chat.
He
Also, this
called
is
out.
not joking matter, though. It can be very severe and deadly to small children. I mean, much like many other
Reading
illnesses,
the chat,
it's
co-signing
very,
it.
very, very dangerous.
Now pay attention to her chat.
Oh, thank you. Almost 500,000 people have already seen this. Please. Oh. Please be the death shot. Dude, this has gotta be Dunzo for fucking Ethan right now. He looked so bad yesterday in the debate, and now, like, while he's down, while he's trying to heal his wounds, items out of nowhere, BOW! Kicks him in the dick. Get out of here, dude. Game over, man. Game over.
Have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And
I'm telling you, man, Banana Banana, give this man your Patreon money. Give him money now. Give him money. Go to his, he might still be live. Give him money. Despite Ethan.
he has kids, and his kids like,
why does it have to be anyone else's fault but your own? Take some fucking responsibility. It's just so bizarre that Ethan would expect Anise and I to make a statement when Denims herself already made a statement about it and said that she does not condone calling CPS.
So we're talking about CPS. One, I don't condone. Two, I've never condoned it, and you will not be able to find a clip of me saying, yes, we should do this, because it doesn't exist. I've literally given Ethan Klein credit on multiple times or multiple instances, and I will do it again right now, for not showing photos of his kids.
Part of my criticisms of Ethan initially was the openness. I think it's a problem that you are that open, Ethan.
Well, you know I'm very open about everything. It's part of how I wanted to conduct myself and how I wanted to relate to the audience, is to be open as possible.
Because you think it's the most entertaining, you fucking weirdo.
It is not strictly a benefit to be as open as possible on your podcast.
Ethan was just sharing his thoughts, what we were thinking, we were speculating.
Sonny's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, he's at that age, he has giardia.
We were speculating.
Oh,
and now Ela has giardia.
Shut.
Be open as possible about every fucking thing in my life.
Yeah. Really? How many siblings do you have? I don't know, dude. The internet's too fucking weird to give out all that information.
Oh, you don't even want to say how many because you're afraid that it will.
Yeah, by all means.
Oh, this is gonna kill Ethan. If this is gonna give him trauma. Oh, he might actually have to see a second of this interview again. Oh, he's the second he sees this part, he's gonna just hopefully his head explodes and no one else is in the room. And where anyone else who is in the room doesn't get hurt, or any like fucking skull shrapnel in their eyes or something. But I kind of like, I hope when Ethan's watching this, for some reason he's wearing like a football helmet or something just for a bit, but then he's watching this and he still has it on, and then his head explodes and no one else gets hurt. That's all. I'll be right back. And to prove it, I'm back. And to prove it,
talking about it.
On top of Ethan characterizing me and my wife as anti-Semitic, he also takes a dig at my tattoos.
Bro, you literally look like a fucking free tattoo pack that you get for 25 cents from a from a windy thing.
You don't say that to somebody, bro. That's an ass whooping.
Fucking tattoos from Chuck E. Cheese.
Beyond bullshit, code on the streets. You talk shit on a man's tattoo, you better be ready to fucking throw. Tattoos mean shit sometimes, dude. It's on his skin forever. You're gonna talk shit? Get a headbutt, bitch.
Jeez. Bro looks like he just went to the menu and was like, I'll take that one, that one, that one, that one, that one, and that one.
I have quite a few options here. I can show your tattoos in all of their glory, or I can show that your tattoo made it.
I'm aware of what I just said. But yeah, he shouldn't be talking shit. I mean, come on, bro. It just makes him double asshole. That's all.
To the top of awful taste but great execution subreddit, which is not a good thing. I mean, it might be a good thing for the artists that you work with because that means that they did a good job from a technical standpoint, but it's sort of a failure in every other aspect, particularly the decision-making aspect. If you want to go tattoo for tattoo, Ethan, we can do that. You want to keep it to other things? We can. I'll give you that option. Ethan also talks about the
It's like, we can have a tattoo off, bitch.
Boxing.
Yeah.
Ethan, your whole system is scrambled.
No, your brain is scrambled from getting punched in the face too many times because you don't understand the situation. Some people are saying the CTE is starting to take effect, I guess. That would be comforting if there was some explanation, at least.
Any amount of CTE that I may have endured after doing 2 boxing matches, I'm going to say is preferred over having to share the load of doing 50 jumping jacks with my wife.
Yeah, what if we we'll both do 25 at once?
25 each?
Oh my goodness.
Great form by both.
Really nice. They must work out.
Also, why are you talking about CTE at all? Like, you've continually illustrated that you can't keep track of anything.
It came up because they were talking about it on their fucking podcast. By the way, they're the ones that like started this conversation by talking about it on the podcast. Be like, hey, I'm not getting involved.
I think that was their response after you guys initially called them out.
He can't even keep straight who attacked who first. He thinks that our podcast where we're expressing sympathy for him and Hila was the impetus for him talking shit about us. I much prefer boxing-induced CTE than harassment-induced CTE. Ethan acts like we're such great friends and that, like, he shared such intimate moments with me, but it's all horseshit. He's lying. Like, the whole thing is a fucking lie. He's manipulating his audience. We did not have a close relationship.
You guys were buddies for a long time.
He texted me, like, one time, like, hey, dude, we should talk this out. And I was like, I don't feel like having this conversation right now. That's it? So Ian kept trying to get me on the phone or text with me, and I told him, dude, honestly, I don't feel like having this conversation right now.
Okay.
Fair, right? I just didn't want to do it. Okay.
I'm an asshole. That's cool though, right?
Well, it turns out I didn't want to talk to him at all.
Okay.
If the relationship was that
What is this all about, bro? He wants cake. He wants to eat it. He wants to speak out of this side of his mouth. He wants to speak out of this side of his mouth. What a bozo. God! Please just shut up forever. Please, just I hope his fucking career is over, man. I hope the channel I hope they lose every sub. And you know what? I'm hoping that happens. But you know what? I hope he holds on to his dog shit progressive, like, you know, fucking identity. But no, he's like, I think I mentioned this to a famous YouTuber who I don't even know if they saw it. I said that, like, Ethan's gonna go one of 3 ways. Like, one, the least likely but best case scenario for everyone, it'd be like celebration, everyone would be happy. He concedes. He's like, yo, I've been an asshole. There might be some disagreements, but what I've been doing is wrong. I shouldn't have been trying to deplatform anyone, and I should be prioritizing the suffering of the Palestinians over my own feelings about how people feel about Israelis. I'm sorry for that. That was dumb. That was selfish. That was psychotic. I'm sorry. Confetti would drop, balloons, H3 would boom. We can even like restart fucking leftovers, man. It would be a glorious day. But the chances of that happening are pretty slim. Very slim. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that's the first scenario. Second scenario, not the best scenario, but not the worst scenario. This is like the middle one. He just kind of shuts up. He does everything in his power to like try to like make it seem like this never fucking happened. Like, erase. Like, just going to divert, talk about something else completely unrelated, and pretend this never happened. That way, he can stop the bleeding and but still maintain his Zionistic dog shit views. He can keep those, but he'll keep them secret. He'll shut up. He'll become a crypto Zionist. That's case scenario 2. He's still a Zionist, but he doesn't tell anyone he is, and he pretends he's not. But he doesn't. And honestly, if you're taking that position, it's best not to talk about Palestine at all. They know why. Okay. Third option, the worst option, the option that will probably keep this going longest, he goes full Tim Pool. He goes centrist, which is code for I'm pretending I'm pretending I'm a centrist. There's no centrism. Centrism is dog shit. There's no such thing, especially at people who like call themselves that. They're either delusional, dumb, and uninformed and don't know what the hell they're talking about, or 2, they're right wingers trying to get away with some bullshit. So that's it. Those are 3 options he has. Ethan Klein from the H3H2 podcast, after his going on a liberal Zionist like destructor tour rampage. The liberal Zionist rampage. What's the difference? What's a liberal Zionist? A liberal Zionist is someone who hates Netanyahu, but doesn't hate killing Palestine, but wants Hamas to die by any means necessary, even if it means dropping bombs through children's little bodies. You want that. Or you just kind of use that fantasy to make yourself feel better about it. But you want to be nice. Shut the fuck up. The existence of any ethno-state at this point in human history, you can probably say literally any ethno-state on Earth, no matter where it is, no matter what the context, would have to be a genocidal state. If it wasn't, it would strive to be one. It's looking for an enemy. All fascist states are looking for an enemy. and like the Zionist enemy are people who are just want to live where they want to live, and who've been living there for centuries, for generations. And they're like, well, actually, you need to get the fuck out because we've got this thing we're thinking about. And like, this is the only place we could be safe, right here. So you're gonna get out, or we're gonna kill you. I mean, so we can be safe. I've derailed. Peace and love.
Close, you would have talked to me on the phone. You wouldn't have shit talked me. You would be curious where my brain was at and where I was coming from. There's this moment in the content cop where I'm trying to...
Yeah, right. He's like, you're my best friend. You should do everything I say. Then he's like, yo, call me. He's like, I'm not going to call you until you do this. Fuck off. Like, you could just do this in private, bro. If you were like all close and shit, you wouldn't have to bring it to the podcast. Weirdo. I mean, he's just... he's gross. Ethan Klein is gross. And possibly completely disingenuous about everything, and just like a liar. And sociopathically willing to just say anything, believe anything, so he can get what he wants.
To give an example of the cycle of harassment. Have you ever been in a comment section and found someone to argue with? It doesn't stop. It can literally go on forever if you don't want to touch grass.
I mean, yeah, this was kind of... Okay, what does that have to do with me?
I don't know.
Are you okay?
Ethan and Eli act like they have no idea what I'm talking about here. So, I mean, maybe they don't. It's a very obvious and easy to digest point. That's why I made it that way. I'm going to explain it here so everyone on the internet understands. When you have a podcast where you are constantly emotionally dumping and saying things just off the top of your head, and you're attacking other people randomly, maybe from your perspective, it's not attacking. Maybe you're just commenting on someone else's situation.
He's got to be one of the most visually repulsive people. FaZe Banks, like, in my opinion, he's somewhat repulsive to look at.
And be
pedophile. Pirate Software was like weird about it. It's like, look at my old voice, it's so lame. What an obnoxious loser. She goes, I can't believe these people are so obnoxious. And he looks like an idiot who's obsessed with me, dude.
But what happens when other people comment on your situation? It doesn't feel too good, does it?
But he's like, no, actually, Ethan, the fucking Jew bag. Fuck this Jew bag Zionist baby killer, guys, right?
I don't know if that's what the video is.
That is the back and forth I'm describing. You were just saying that Ethan and Nisa are bad friends.
Let him have it, Black Ops.
Our POV is like, fuck everybody, and
they just implied that we are okay with people using CPS as harassment, and not all their fans are forgiving. So I am going to respond in kind and make a content copy. So yes, that is what the cycle of harassment is.
okay, well that's too deep. How about that?
You might think that all the harassment and video has everything to do with politics and your idea of Israel Palestine, but a lot of my posts were centered around you dragging me into your shit. You know, you knew that you were going through a lot, and you were saying, I'm hurting, I'm now going to make them hurt because they're not putting their head on the chopping block. Fuck you, you're a piece of shit. I'm sure there's anti-Semitic people that are they're not me, they're not Anissa, it's not Hassan, it's not all these other creators who are attacking. You're not the biggest victim on the internet, Ethan. Other people can experience a whole fucking life. But guess what? They're not getting this other benefit, which is 26,000 viewers.
So there is 5-6 minutes left. Please bring up Sam Hyde. Will we please bring up Sam Hyde and the fact that like Ethan was glazing him? and said that Sam Hyde destroyed you, please talk about it. Please, please, please. Sam Hyde needs to be fucking shaved, sterilized, and destroyed. He is a cancer, and he should be dug out, thrown away. Come at me, big man, big tough fucker. Fucking what is this, caveman days? You come at me, I'll shoot you in the face, bitch.
A lot of money and a lot of content, a lot of things that you care about from your tweets and from your harassment. There are a lot of people that you just bullied and nothing out of it. The battle words. She's not getting content out of this. You're attacking her in relentless ways and endorsing so much worse harassment than what even you sent her way.
The shit he said and posted about Rogan over the past years is like insanely nasty shit.
Yeah.
Worse than anyone I've seen. Shit.
Hold on, it's not worse than anything you've seen. Very nasty. Well, I'm just saying, people fucking want to like lay down.
I'm talking about specifically against Rogan.
But like, he called her fat, right? And it's horrifically mean. I get called a fucking baby killer.
I was talking specifically about
that's way worse than being called fat and ugly, in my opinion.
Also, on top of using the New York content victimizing himself, I did notice that as soon as we didn't he took that to heart and he started to make that his employees' problem. Instead of just, sucking it up and working on himself, he decided to imply that Lena is going to have a problem with him.
The ramifications for the girl, the way that they have it set up is basically...
Yeah, he's probably gonna, because there's not a lot of time yet, he's got to talk about the Lena Creator Clash situation. Even though he needs to talk about what I was just talking about, which I don't remember what it was.
If Lena were to drop out, she would lose like $25,000 or something like insane. And besides that, which I told her I would cover if she wanted to drop out, she's working really hard. And just because I'm having an issue with what's going on here,
you bringing up Lena dropping out of the fight was you publicly showing to your fans, like, I don't approve of this. You were saying this shit before the content copy even came out.
she wanted to drop out.
But now you're saying that you didn't have a problem with any of it until I
was totally on board until the organizer put out a video calling me
I see you.
harassing his friends.
Obviously, they victimize themselves every chance they get. But when they have the chance to victimize someone else who's on their crew, they'll also do that.
So you already forced this horrible situation. And again, you forced this situation on her.
Why would I do such a thing to Lena? Dude, you have as much agency as I do. You didn't have to badmouth me on your podcast. That was a choice for you.
I agree. My good fucking friends who have stood by after all these fucking years can't find a spine to speak up.
Oh, the organizers of this event are not coming to my defense? All right, well, I need some shit talking, then maybe I should sit it.
Second place. Crush those dirtbags.
This horrible situation. And again, you forced this situation on her. By the way, Selena's fucking... I agree.
But you're just lobbing it to me and Lisa. I'm lobbing it back to you. You're the one who brought it up. If you lob it back to me and say, well, I didn't have it back publicly, fuck you. I'm going to lob it back and say, you're being irresponsible on your podcast, and you're not taking any accountability for the shit that you're putting out online. I think that's going to do it for this video. There's a lot more that I can share, but I'll see you guys. And in closing, I will reiterate so that...
More is coming, ladies and gentlemen.
Is falling back. Hell of a show today, Black Ops.
This year, we hope that all the fighters get what they wanted out of it. I'm sorry that I'm such a
y'all seen this?
nasty person who just wants to roll around in the shit. I'll put the link to the accounts down in the description if you want to support them in their mission to get creators to fight and raise money for charity. You can do that down there. I will be doing that on my own. And, I great time. Also, for all of you who cut grass, I want to remind you to click the like button on this video, not so it goes in your algorithm or anything, just specifically so that we can add a counter narrative, or I can get an idea of how much astroturfing is out there, because I know that a lot of these fuckers, they love their dislike button extensions. And I saw that shit and I was like, what the fuck? These are all like fabricated numbers. The like-dislike ratio was like 80-20 on my video, and then they tried to create a narrative of like, no, people actually hate this content cop, guys. It's actually so much worse. Like, bitch, like, people were more upset with, like, my wife being on OnlyFans. You're not gonna convince the internet that fucking Ethan Klein isn't being a piece of shit. Like, sorry, guys. It doesn't matter how many dislike extensions you have.
We can free Palestine without being a Nazi, okay? Yeah, fuck you guys too, okay? How about you fucking Nazis? How about that?
It's blatantly and obviously fucking disingenuous. This shit blew my fucking mind. Like, this is fucking insane. And, like, dangerous. He is going out of his way to slander you as a neo-Nazi. Like, that can get you hurt.
Thank you, Ethan Klein. You are my best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend. Ethan Klein, you are my best friend. You are the rent payer. You are the legend.
Sorry, I was trying to donate. But it was fucking me up. Maybe it's because I'm streaming. Maybe it's a oh no, Denims part 1, 2 hours. Denims, I would do anything for Denims. It's just so you know. I mean, not anything weird. Like if you need someone taken out, or if you just need someone to like go grab your groceries for you, I would say yes to anything. Nothing weird. I'm not into that shit. Guess what? Fucking back. Told you. I don't know if that was right back, but I'm back at least. So wait, this is what's his face? Turkey Tom. So should I watch the almighty and like just beyond? Oh, Hassan already reacted to the new iDubbbz. Oh my god. Oh, dude, we're eating good. I haven't even watched the internet tonight. We're gonna watch the internet tonight. I've got some noodles cooking. I gotta watch the internet tonight. These are my kings. I've got so many kings in my life.
From all the usual
kings, queens, and non-gender specific monarchs.
A safe space where you will not
have
to hear about Donald Trump or Elon Musk for approximately 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, no. I wish there was a setting. Never mind. Oh, and I hope that the ending of the iDubbbz video was a mild shout out to Mike from PA, who should like be my friend, man. Hit me up, bro. Eating a banana because I am very ape-like. And doctor says I need potassium, probably because of some of the meds I'm on. That was so fucking sexy. God damn it. I've never turned myself on before. This is the first time. Let's carry on.
And thankfully, we have plenty of material to fill that huge swastika-shaped hole. And what better way to kick things off than leave the world of humans completely and check in on the animal kingdom?
Yeah.
Well, okay, not completely, because this first story is about a guy who, for a very long time, has been voluntarily, intentionally subjecting himself to one of man's greatest fears, a fear that is quite justified. Snake bites.
Yeah. Why'd it have to be snakes?
It had to be snakes.
Probably getting them high.
Snakes are one of the most common human fears, and, well, a lot of people maybe freak out a bit too much from simply being in the presence of.
He's wearing a Slayer shirt. What a weirdo.
Bitten by a venomous snake.
I love Slayer. That's why I think it's weird, bro. It's people.
As much as they can. Whether it's a king cobra, a rattlesnake, a black mamba, or just anything from Australia, you don't want to get bitten because it can literally kill you.
Yeah, it's a bad time even if you're not going to die. So avoid it. But for one man, that's not the case at all. And for over 2 decades, he's been intentionally letting all sorts of venomous snakes bite him. And now his depraved hobby may end up saving a whole lot of lives. Well, who's laughing now?
Well.
Gonna have a big chip on whatever's left of that shoulder.
They said I was crazy for constantly letting snakes bite me.
And they were right, but here's the New York Times. The video is just under 2.5 minutes long. A slim man with close cropped hair walks into a room, pulls a long black mamba, whose venom can kill within an hour, from a crate and allows it to bite his left arm. Immediately after, he lets a taipan from Papua New Guinea bite his right arm. Thanks for watching. He calmly tells the camera, his left arm bleeding, and then exits.
I'm assuming he died immediately after that, right?
Anyways, that's it for me. You'll never see another video again. Over nearly 18 years, the man, Tim Freed, 57, injected himself with more than 650 carefully calibrated, escalating doses of venom to build his immunity to 16 deadly snake species. He also allowed the snakes, mostly one at a time, but sometimes two, as in the video, to sink their sharp fangs into him about 200 times. Look, even if it wasn't, the end result wasn't always planned to save lives, because I feel like the end result, based on his own words, seems to be creating his own version of a superpower where he could, assuming either battle or fall in love with snakes and be totally fine with the end result.
What a psychopath. I love it. He's the coolest psychopath ever.
He is a test case.
I mean, I gotta say, it would feel pretty cool to know that if a cobra bit you, you could just laugh in its face and say, "Ha, what else you got, bitch?"
It, at the very least, a cool party trick.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, where'd that cobra go? Then you can make that joke afterwards. Everyone freaks out. It's a good time.
I think there might be a BDSM angle to this.
Oh, could be. Yeah.
Unless maybe, hey, I don't know. I've never been bitten up by a snake. Maybe it feels really cool.
Who's to say?
Mr. Freed's first snake encounter, a harmless bite by a garter snake at age 5, started a lifelong fascination. "If I only knew back then what was going to happen," he recalled, laughing uproariously. But he didn't begin dabbling with snakes in earnest until he was married with children and working in construction.
All right.
My life isn't dangerous enough.
He hit one of those, it's like, I don't know what age he hit it, but it's definitely like I have no more worlds left to conquer. What made me happy when I was a kid? Getting bitten by a snake. You know what? I'm going to do that now that I've got the kids and the work stuff done.
Yeah, it's like the quarter-life, midlife crisis.
Yeah, I bought a mountain bike. This
no
guy
more mountains left to climb. Yeah. What else is there? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He began experimenting with scorpions around the year 2000, but quickly switched to snakes. At one point, his basement lab housed 60 venomous snakes. His experiments nearly ended soon after they began. On September 12th, 2001, crazed by the terrorist attack of the previous day and by the death of a friend a few days earlier, he let himself be bitten by 2 cobras. They were his first bites by live snakes, and he had not built up enough immunity. He was fine after the first bite, but after the second, he felt cold. His eyes started to droop, and he couldn't talk. He blacked out and woke up from a coma in a hospital 4 days later. His wife was furious, but he was angrier with himself.
Doubt. I would say the wife's probably more upset in this scenario.
What the fuck?
You asked me not to ask you what was going on down there. All of a sudden, I hear a tumble.
How many snakes? 60 snakes?
Yeah, and I had to find the one that bit you because that's the only way they're going to come up with the antivenom down there.
He vowed to become more methodical in his work, carefully measuring out doses of venom and timing his bites.
Guarantee the wife's still mad.
I love it. He's like, please promise you'll never do that again. I'll never do that again. By which I mean I'll never do exactly that again. I will continue to let snakes bite me, but I'll be a little more careful about it.
Babe, I apologize for being so careless. Going forward, this is going to become even more intense and methodical. I hope you're along for the ride. Now that you've found my snake lab, I guess the secret's out.
I guess it's out. I'd work all day, come home, play with the kids and the family, and go downstairs and do my stuff all night long. Wake up and do it again. Woo!
They both snort, and I love it every time it happens. It just makes my heart so warm with stuff.
Daddy needs his snakes. If it weren't for those goddamn snakes.
The snakes are the only thing keeping me sane.
Yeah.
There were other mishaps, accidental bites, anaphylactic shocks, hives, blackouts. Mr. Freed describes himself as a non-degree scientist.
Yeah.
But, quote, "There's no college in the world that can teach you how to do it," he said. "I was doing it on my own as best as I could."
Wow. Like I said, I got a mountain bike. I started running. This guy's down in the lab.
Yeah.
Experimenting with different venoms.
Running, mountain biking. This is not quite the thrill I'm looking for.
It's also like,
I want to hold death in my hands and literally look it directly in the eyes and say, "Try me."
There's something like to get to the satisfaction of being like putting yourself on death's door every day, quite literally, and abusing yourself like that. The parents and the kids, I would just be like, "What's wrong? Is everything okay?"
Yeah, there's more going on.
But again, he's saving lives, Elliot. We can't critique him too hard.
You can't.
This guy's absurd, irresponsible, dangerous hobby appears to have led to one of the biggest medical breakthroughs for treating snake bites. And it could end up saving countless lives. We don't know. This guy could be like Jesus in 2,000 years' time.
He's like
that's kind of awesome, actually.
He abused himself for the good of other people. He took his lashings.
We should all do
lovely
that.
Snakes. But every year, venomous snakes kill tens of thousands worldwide and permanently disable several 100,000 more. And it very disproportionately happens in poorer parts of the world where resources for treating snake bites are hard to come by. Antivenoms exist, and they help save lives. But since the venom from different snakes can be so different, you need the right kind of antivenom for the job, or it's not going to help. So in addition to just enjoying getting bit by snakes, Tim Freed has been hoping that his 2 decades of voluntarily poisoning himself might lead to some sort of medical breakthrough. Now the article continues. 2 cheaters have resampled Mr. Freed's blood over the years, but neither project led anywhere. By the time he met Dr. Jacob Glanville, CEO of biotech company Centevax, in 2017, he was nearly ready to give up. Dr. Glanville had been pursuing what scientists call broadly acting antibodies as the basis for universal vaccines against viruses. He grew up in a Maya village in the Guatemala highlands and became intrigued by the possibility of using the same approach for universal antivenom. At first, he said he had a humble goal of finding someone like a snake for a time. But then he came across news articles about Mr. Freed. I've been waiting for this call for a long time, Dr. Glanville recalls Mr. Freed saying. Finally! Hey, wife, get in here. You said it would never happen.
Hey, this guy on the phone, he's a doctor. You know what he's trying to do? Can you guess? Do you think it might be the thing that I've been talking about this whole time?
You said you're gonna kill yourself one of these days.
What's that? I'm sorry. You were right, Timmy. I love my husband.
That's right.
Tonight,
I've been waiting for this call for a long time.
The snakes are going back.
Package on my location.
And yeah, Tim Freed's fucked up blood proved to be very useful.
Yeah.
They were able to isolate an antibody that protected mice against 5 different types of snakes. And then they decided to try to combine that in a cocktail with a molecule known to work against some venoms. And then they found a second antibody in Tim's blood to add to the cocktail. The results gave mice complete protection against 13 snake species and partial protection against 6 more. Tim is, of course, thrilled about it, probably shoving this in the face of anyone who ever doubted him or called him crazy. Here's NPR. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't believe it, he says. I know I'm doing something for humanity and giving back to science. Upon Glanville's recommendation, it has been several years since Freed last allowed himself to be bitten by a venomous snake. But he admits to missing it.
Yep.
Mostly in terms of just knowing where you can take your mind, he says. To know you can beat that and keep your calm and keep your cool. It's a wonderful thing. And here's the Times again with, I think, a pretty crucial detail.
Yeah.
Mr. Freed himself is done now, however. His last bite was in November 2018 from a water cobra. He was divorced. His wife and children had moved out.
Yep.
Well, that's it. Enough is enough, he recalled thinking. He misses the snakes, he said, but not the painful bites. I'll probably get back into it in the future, he said. But for right now, I'm happy where things are at.
Yep. Yeah, I think we all saw that one coming.
I'm back on my bullshit. Here we go again.
It is unfortunate that he waited until everything collapsed in his life to be like, oh, maybe it was the snakes.
Yeah.
But on the other hand,
I can't live like this.
But
there's 60 venomous snakes in the basement. We have kids, Tim.
I keep finding you bent over a chair and wondering how long you've been passed out for while you're on some head trip.
Do you think he like the way lifelong recovering drug addicts, they just see something like if
it just triggers it?
He'll see just even a reference to a snake and he'll be like, oh fuck God, oh I want it.
I mean, for multiple reasons. It did become his whole life. He was, however you want to describe it, he was fucking good at it.
Yeah.
Whatever it was.
Say what you will.
And yeah, there's clearly he is addicted to the pain and the action of it, and apparently the psychoactive effects that it has on his brain, because when you put yourself in a situation like that, yeah, it does kind of fucking trip you out.
It's kind of wild that this guy...
Honestly, definitionally, the only difference between a poison / venom and a drug is dosage. That guy was getting high. Real high. Love it. We should try it. How high can venom get you? Snake venom.
It's a credit to him that he never used...
Oh, I respect him. I need to put that out there. Sir, when you are looked at as a Jesus-like figure in a couple years, I want to say I was on your side.
And speaking of his heroism and speaking of Jesus, I think it's admirable that he never used his snake immunity to preach.
I was just thinking
like
about
handle
that. Yeah,
snakes
yeah.
and
He could have got people killed.
See, the Lord protects those who believe. Now you try it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I guess he didn't believe.
Calm down though. There's still time, but I hope not.
But speaking of snakes, let's move on to a story about something that kind of looks like snakes under a microscope, and that would be cum.
Yeah.
A few weeks back, we discussed what was being marketed as the world's
That's quite a
first
transition.
ever sperm race, in which two young, virile men representing rival LA universities, USC and UCLA, would jerk off into a cup and see whose jizz was the fastest.
Obviously, Elliot was in attendance. When I came back from the woods, the first thing I saw was Elliot head to toe in merchandise from this big event. It said, "I love fast semen."
Yeah. And that's just what you saw under normal light.
Yeah.
I didn't turn on the UV light.
That it comes pre-covered in UV reflective material.
And yeah, this wasn't just for science or school pride. You could also gamble on the event on Polymarket, because it doesn't.
What can't you gamble?
Yeah, that's America today. You can gamble on fucking anything. The event ended up being such a hot ticket that the original venue of the Hollywood Palladium had to be swapped out at the last minute for a larger venue. And the event was held this past weekend, with the guy from USC being declared the winner.
It was a fix because of the Trojan thing.
Yeah. Or as our local ABC outlet described it,
in the end, the Trojan won. The Bruin got creamed.
Cool.
Oh, and we somehow missed this the first time around, but the USC guy's name is Tristan Milker.
Nominative determinism.
I guess it's not a surprise that he took home the $10,000 cash prize. Milker, born for this.
Yeah.
Anyway, it looks like it was a fun, raucous occasion for everyone involved. However, in the days since, questions have been raised about the legitimacy of the competition.
Uh-oh.
Here's Metro UK.
The contest, held at the Los Angeles Center Studios on Friday, was billed as a dash between two sperm along a microscopic racetrack, ending at a finish line. But a renowned fertility doctor has since said that videos purporting to show this sperm racing could not be footage of real human swimmers. I look at sperm all day under the microscope, and these are not human sperm, said Dr. Stephen Palter, medical director of Gold Coast IVF in New York. This is CGI. This is computer generated, he added, citing differences in the proportions, their swimming technique, and the fact that they move determinedly in one direction. He showed real footage of sperm in his lab in which very different looking cells wiggled about in seemingly random directions. What's the real story, guys? Why are you doing this? Why are you putting out fake videos? Dr. Palter asked.
It's stolen semen valor.
That's right. We consulted an expert. We consulted an expert.
I just want to take a second to absorb stolen semen valor. Just a couple seconds here. Stolen semen valor. With peace and love.
He stares at cum all day.
Yeah, listen.
And he loves it.
Some guys get bit by snakes all day. Some guys stare at cum all day. We all have our cross to bear.
Do you think at one point he was like, should I say anything? Because at least it's getting people interested in fertility, you know? And But he had a duty as a medical doctor.
Yeah, it would be, honestly, it'd be a violation of his oath as a doctor to let this slide.
Now, does he understand that these athletes have been shooting into very, very tiny little training these sperm? The problem is this guy, he's seeing regular sperm. He's not seeing athlete sperm.
This doctor, he's only seeing beta male sperm that are just like, I'm a sperm.
Did he know about the guy's last name?
Yeah.
That would have changed things.
Yeah, this Milker guy, his sperm, it's like bullets. They go right towards the finish.
Maybe Dr. Palter should make a cash call.
And yeah, in a TikTok video posted by Dr. Palter, it is pretty clear that what was presented as a sperm race featured sperm whose behavior and appearance were quite different from the real deal.
So was this fake? Well, short answer is yes. Yeah, long answer is maybe, okay? Dr. Palter has said that the organizers could have tracked the speed of real sperm and used CGI to transpose it onto a racetrack. A video journalist who attended the event for the Free Press has said he was told as much by PR representatives from organizers sperm racing. A document sent to Austin Jeffs reportedly stated, for added entertainment value, the live positions of the sperm are mapped onto a dynamic 3D model of the track, creating an engaging visual experience. However, questions have been raised as to whether the live positions were indeed used, given sperm tend to dart around randomly, or rather, simply their speed. Dr. Palter compared it to having blindfolded men trying to run on a track, followed by a group of professional athletes racing along another track, basing their movement on the speed of the blindfolded men. I would have no problem if they had just said this was an interpretation, he told the Free Press. But in reality, watching real sperm would be kind of boring. But they are encouraging people to bet on it.
Yeah, that's the thing, is like this. I feel like if people have money on the line, you should be disclosing what they're actually looking at.
Yeah, at the very least, I think
I smell a lawsuit.
What would be equally entertaining, what they should add on to this, is the carnival game where you have to aim the gun at the little metal piece and it blows up the balloon, or the horses go across the track. Do that, but with a piss stream, because that is like kind of a manly thing. Like you gotta have a strong flow. So you gotta find the strongest flow, and then you would assume, extrapolate from there, that would also have a healthy dose.
But you're describing piss racing, and this is sperm racing. That's
they go through almost
sports.
the same tube towards the end.
I mean, it's like boxing and MMA. There are similarities.
That's why I'm saying as a side contest, Elliot. I want to see people blow up balloons with their piss streams.
Wasn't that like remember Power Thirst?
What is that from that movie?
No, it was like a
Idiocracy.
It was like a it was like a pre-YouTube flash animation like comedy video. It was like Power Thirst.
Oh, did they piss into it? But maybe that is my brain.
I think there was like a pissing contest described in that. It's a classic video.
Let's bring it into reality, folks. If we're doing sperm racing,
it's called challenge pissing. I don't know why I remember this. This was like 20-something years ago.
Sort of related. Another great Instagram account is Scenic Pisses.
Yeah, I love scenic pisses.
Who doesn't love scenic pisses?
But people are getting like a little too daring with some of these pisses.
Oh, someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
That's the problem with all of these viral
I've seen
challenges.
some very dangerous pisses lately. They're supposed to be scenic, not dangerous.
Yeah, that's the problem with anything going viral. Well, it lasted.
It's like how planking was only around for about a week before someone died doing that. It's kind of crazy that scenic pissing's been around for a couple of years now and no one's gotten themselves killed.
Hopefully it's not related, but two people did just fall off of Bryce Canyon and die because they literally stepped over the fucking cautionary fence and immediately slipped and fell down.
Well, that's just for normies.
But they could have been pissing.
They could have been pissing.
Moving on, though. According to the reporter who was there, he did actually see them backstage uploading pre-recorded race footage, and when confronted about it, one of the sperm racing co-founders said that the actual race had already happened an hour earlier, and what was shown live was a CGI representation created using tracking data captured during the actual race. And this seems potentially believable, especially if they tried to do it for real and ultimately realized that the footage is boring as hell. But the article also points out a second, much more verifiable bit of dishonesty from sperm racing's creators. Doubt has also been cast as to whether the race can indeed be called a world first. A BBC Two program, Lab Rats, hosted a similar contest in a pub in 2004, showing real zoomed-in microscoping footage in which sperm cells darted around erratically. Another was produced as part of the BBC's The Truth About Food in 2007. Mr. Zhu reportedly acknowledged hearing about them days before the event, but did not change his marketing.
Dishonest.
That's
false advertising.
Pot committed.
Fraudulent.
But those are British people. They get money to do all kinds of weird shit. Here in America, we have to have a gambling element tied to it to even get the community involved and interested.
So there's multiple levels of dishonesty and fraud here. One of the event creators, I believe, was like a crypto guy or an NFT guy.
That's the problem.
Yeah, if you lost that bet, I hope there's a class action lawsuit being filed as we speak, because this stinks. It stinks to high heaven.
I did see a report lately that like just some guy took some cash and just bet against all of the improbable things, world events on Polymarket, just like dumb, outrageous things that had bets available, and he just took the realistic bet every time and made a pretty hefty sum. So good for that person.
Yeah, I mean, it's still gambling.
It definitely is still gambling.
It's still a really foolish thing to do with your money.
Absolutely. But
moving on now to some International news. That's also about young men doing stupid shit, though honestly, you're way better off just having sperm races against your friends than doing what this next guy did. Over in Japan, they got this big old mountain called Mount Fuji. It's really just a gigantic volcano, so it's quite iconic. It stands alone. There's no other mountains around it.
Very
it's
beautiful.
Just a big old single mountain. Getting a good look at Mount Fuji is on every tourist bucket list, but some tourists get a good look and decide, hey, I want to go to there. So they head on up one of the mountain's several hiking trails so they can say that they went to the top of Mount Fuji. Yeah. But the thing is, due to the distance, altitude, and cold temperatures, climbing Mount Fuji is pretty strenuous, even on the supposedly easier trails. And some people underestimate that. Here's The Guardian with one such tale. A university student has been rescued from the slopes of Mount Fuji twice in the space of a week. The second time during an attempt to retrieve his mobile phone.
Oh, God.
The hapless climber, a 27-year-old Chinese national who has not been named, was airlifted from Japan's highest mountain last week, only to be the subject of a second search 4 days later. It emerged that he had returned to the scene of his first rescue to retrieve his phone, Japanese media reported.
I got so many good Pokemons on there, they don't transfer. The student, who lives in Japan, was found on Saturday by another off-season climber on a trail more than 3,000 meters, 9,800 feet, above sea level. He was suspected of having altitude sickness and was taken to hospital, a police spokesperson said on Monday. Officers later realized the same man had been lifted from the mountain by helicopter 4 days earlier, the broadcaster TBS said. Media reports said the climber had returned to the 3,776-meter peak on Friday because he had left his phone and other items at the scene of his first rescue. It was unclear if he had managed to find the device. Well, we're going round 3.
Yeah.
The incident was a reminder of the dangers Fuji poses to inexperienced climbers who underestimate the challenge of traversing its steep slopes. People are urged not to hike during the off-season as conditions can quickly become treacherous. I mean, I hope he got his phone the second time, because if not, I mean, it really seems like he might just head right back up the mountain as soon as he's out of the hospital.
Is it true that you can't transfer your Pokemon?
I have no idea, but it would be a very funny thing if it was like something that was maybe like a crypto thing where you use your phone to unlock it.
Yeah, you could have some crypto on there. I mean, losing your phone does suck, especially because of the two-factor authentication.
Hey, I think I got some crypto up there.
That's not fun at all.
For most, I would say, normal people, it is pretty much once you get another phone, obviously, once you get it replaced, which sucks.
But that can be a couple of days, and during those days, you're locked out of your accounts. And
that's why it's good to have a secondary authentication app that doesn't tie to your text messages.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah. But back to the United States now with some news from a category that has served us well over the years. Public poopers. And public poopers can, of course, be divided into two distinct categories. People trying to be sly about pooping in public who get caught, and people who want everyone to see exactly what they're doing. This next story is from the second category, and it comes to us from Delaware County, Pennsylvania, which locals call Delco.
Cool.
Here's the Delco Times. The mysterious Delco pooper was identified and charged Thursday with indecent exposure and related offenses. She's accused of defecating on a car hood during a dispute with another driver this week in Prospect Park. Christina Marie Solometto, 44, of the 700 block of East Chester Pike in Ridley Park, is also charged with disorderly conduct, criminal mischief, harassment, and depositing waste on the highway for the Tuesday incident at the corner of 4th and Madison Avenues. Video of the incident, shot by a bystander, took the internet by storm Wednesday, even appearing on TMZ. The video shows a woman exit a vehicle, apparently pantsless, move to the front of another person's car stopped behind her, sit for a second on the victim's vehicle hood, and then return to the sedan, flashing a smile as the other driver shouts at her. Left behind on the hood is a brownish glop.
Who amongst us hasn't wanted to take a shit on the hood of some asshole driver's car? Some of us are just more.
I don't want to take a shit anywhere ever. I don't want to even take shit in toilets.
The real upper decker. And here's the pooper's mugshot.
I wish I didn't shit. She got a real kick out of it. She's a cutie, actually.
Solometto said she was heading north on Lincoln Avenue and was the fifth car in line to turn left at the traffic light onto 4th Avenue. 3 cars went through on the green arrow, she said, but the 4th, a silver sedan, did not move. Solometto began honking, and the driver of the other vehicle began mocking her in the rearview mirror. She said she was frustrated with the other driver and having stomach issues, so she pulled around the silver sedan and turned left. Solometo said she continued toward Madison on 4th when she noticed the other vehicle appeared to be following her.
Destroy the enemy.
She said she stopped her vehicle and exited, then had an exchange with the other driver. Solometo said as she was walking back to her car, the driver of the silver sedan called her an insulting name, which made her angry, according to the affidavit. Solometo said, "I wanted to punch her in the face, but I pooped on her car instead and went home."
I could have punched her.
Yeah. On Thursday, O'Neill and Prospect Park Police Chief Dave Madonna went to her Chester Park address later to discuss the matter further, and she confirmed the details from the earlier conversation.
We've taken
It was a
control.
clean poop, she added at the time. Didn't even have to wipe. Madonna said Solometo was taken into custody at the time. In video of her arrest posted online Thursday night, she tells one person, "I have a sickness."
Yeah, I'd say so. And
I mean,
the video of her getting arrested too. She's having a big old laugh about it.
At that point, you kind of gotta just you laugh. I would feel bad if the person was obviously suffering from a mental break, but it seems like otherwise maybe they just might be an angry driver. Also, yeah, it's just a mess. But I am proud of the clean break because that really sends a message. It means this was intentional. It wasn't just I'm gonna go all over here. I'm gonna fuck them right on the hood. It's gonna be perfect.
Yeah,
Maybe.
well, we're not going to show it, but believe me, when I tell you, not in fact a clean by anyone's definition.
Hey, incoming lethal!
The article described it as a brownish glop, and I'd say that's pretty accurate.
On a scale of normal to blippy.
You saw it?
What is it? The Bristol chart? It was, I don't know, either at the top or the bottom. I can't remember which side is the most liquefied, but it was there.
Woo!
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, we will. Yeah.
Indeed.
Let's move on to an update on our old pal Mike Lindell.
Oh, good.
Boy, Mr. Mike Hill. It's been more than 4 years since the 2020 election, and so much has changed. But one thing that remains the same is all the legal trouble Mike Lindell is in, defaming a bunch of voting machine companies. His quest to somehow prove the 2020 election was stolen continues to cost him dearly. And it would appear that his dire financial straits have forced him to hire some legal representation that isn't exactly top-notch. Here's Mashable with the latest embarrassment for this very embarrassing man. Lawyers for MyPillow CEO and presidential election conspiracy theorist Mike Lindell are facing potential disciplinary action after using generative AI to write a legal brief, resulting in a document rife with fundamental errors. The lawyers did admit to using AI, but claim that this particular mistake was primarily human. Did it also have a watermark with a giant dragon in a business suit?
Are you trying to shoot
They
me?
didn't say so, but I'm sure
Yes,
they
you are.
considered it.
Mike Lindell has a couple of new lawyers, and you're going to be very scared of them. They breathe fire.
Legal dragon.
Yeah.
On Wednesday, an order by Colorado District Court Judge Nina Wang noted that the court had identified almost 30 defective citations in a brief filed by Lindell's lawyers on February 25th. Signed by attorneys Christopher Kocharoff and Jennifer DeMaster of law firm McSweeney, Sinkar, and Kocharoff. The filing was part of former Dominion Voting Systems employee Eric Coomer's defamation lawsuit against Lindell. These defects include, but are not limited to, misquotes of cited cases, misrepresentations of principles of law associated with cited cases, including discussions of legal principles that simply do not appear within such decisions, misstatements regarding whether case law originated from a binding authority such as the United States Court of Appeals for the
God,
10th
is that
Circuit,
blood? Nobody told me there would be
misattributions of
blood.
case law to this district, and most egregiously, citation of cases
I
that do
am
not
way
exist.
too blazed for this
Read
right
Wang's
now.
court order. The court further noted that while the lawyers had been given the opportunity to explain this laundry list of errors, one actually do so. Kocharoff confirmed that he'd used generative AI to prepare the brief once directly asked about it by the court, and upon further questioning, admitted that he had not checked the results of the citation. Yeah, it is wild. It's been like over a year since like the first few times some lawyers, like I feel like those lawyers a year and a half ago, you could at least forgive them for their naivete. But like, in 2025, when clearly as a lawyer, like if you're paying the slightest bit of attention,
Hey,
you know,
someone should make a movie about this.
ChatGPT
Or
is
even
not
better, someone should make a
reliable.
video
It's
game about this.
for filing legal documents. In fact, judges hate it.
Never mind.
Judges get very fucking pissed when you do it.
It's the constant, I'm going to butcher it, but the constant scale of like, you know, quick, quality, and price. And it's like, look, Mr. He has negative money. So we're going to do a negative job of representing him.
We'll take this case on pro bono. Yeah. We just work on. Okay, here's your files.
Also, side note, I feel like Eric Coomer would do great in the sperm racing competition.
Yeah, he was defamed for the 2020 election, but he was also defamed as a masturbator.
Yeah.
Mike Lindell, he's jerking off all the time, this Coomer. I know what a Coomer is.
He comes from a long line of Coomers.
Anyways, sucks to be him, but let's move on. It's time to move on now to the headlines.
Target
half of
the
the show.
vehicle
Since this episode isn't sponsored, we might as well
course
let you
I
know that,
bet.
hey, if you like the show, want to support it, maybe consider becoming a channel member.
It's so easy. You click the join button. It's a very fun experience for everyone.
You want to make things harder for yourself? We've also got a Patreon. We got a Ko-Fi. I don't know how to say it. Coffee. Or just like the video. Please like the video. That helps too a lot.
And since we're in the middle of the episode, some house cleaning stuff. We're not going to take the entire week off next week. Just to be
one episode in the middle.
Yeah, like Thursday or something. You'll see an episode. So just rest easy. But we are going out of town again. I know it's a lot in the past 2 weeks, but we appreciate you understanding.
Yeah.
Anyways, now for the weirdest news headlines from around the world, starting with
Kanye banned from streaming platforms 7 minutes after joining. The streaming platform was Twitch. Can you guess what Kanye did within those 7 minutes to get himself banned
Nazi
from Twitch?
I'm gonna guess anything anti-Semitic or a swastika.
Can you be more specific?
No, I don't want to because I don't want to get our show banned.
Within the 7 minutes, he said Heil Hitler and did a Nazi salute. Yeah, and said a bunch of other offensive shit.
Did Kick roll out the red carpet for him?
I don't know, actually.
Because that is like...
At this point, Kanye should have his grills kicked out.
Is, or anyone in general.
He's earned it.
You can't join Kick right away.
Yeah.
You have to get banned from the other platforms first.
But like, I feel like even Kick, like, despite being very permissive, I feel like even Kick doesn't allow like blatant.
Does Rumble have
Nazi
live
support.
streaming? It has to.
We definitely don't have this stuff in Canada.
So there you go. Kanye on Rumble coming soon. Also, I believe his there was some news recently about, I don't know if she's his ex or not, the Bianca being like, yeah, that dentist definitely got him hooked on nitrous and it destroyed his brain.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but that seems about. Yeah, they're getting divorced, but then they were like seen together again recently. I don't fucking know. I don't really care what much he does, but it does seem
I fully believed for the first time ever
Ye's a lost cause, man. Fuck that bitch. Come at me, Ye. I'm in Chicago, bitch. Come get me. I'll fuck you
where
up.
he's got like 100 men he's like training
Rich
as
bitch.
his dancers for the tour that's supposedly happening next, and they're putting like swastikas on the building. And the people in the neighborhood are like, what the fuck, Kanye?
Well, whenever he gets kicked out of the building, he's going to get to say the line.
I've been canceled.
No. This is going to ruin
Enemy
the tour.
field upgrade.
The world
Not
tour.
good.
I don't think he's going on a world tour.
Yeah, he's not going on a world tour. Side note, the...
Why? Because Nazis should get the wall.
The Beyonce show at SoFi, very, very undersold.
Yeah.
Even though the tickets were going for like $600
Let's
when
see,
they
you
dropped.
have two things happening. Years of concert tickets prices
I am
going
too
to
old to be
absurd
playing
heights,
these fucking games.
and the economy being in the most uncertain shape it's been in over a decade.
Also,
what could possibly happen?
Doing multiple nights at SoFi Stadium, of all places. Yeah, I looked the other night just for shits and giggles on StubHub, and it was $50 to get into that show, which has got to be annoying for people who are massive Beyonce fans.
I mean, honestly,
who paid hundreds of dollars when they went on sale.
I hope the bubble bursts.
I think it is.
Because it's gotten so
Hostile
fucking
sighted.
out of hand, especially since Ticketmaster and Live Nation bought up
FTC's
like
in the red.
almost
It's now or
every
never.
venue, including like the small ones. There's like a tiny handful of independent music venues in Los Angeles.
Yeah, one of the biggest music towns. And yeah, what's going to happen is the festival market is just going to implode. It's impossible to have the same festival in every city in America and have those festivals sustain themselves.
It kind of has the amount of like. This is very local talk, but the Red Bull grounds. Like, I feel like 2 or 3 summers ago, they had like 5 or 6 festivals.
There's 2 coming up right to back.
Yeah, but there's no more than that.
True, but Yeah, it is kind of wild when you see the same
And they're
lineups.
ridiculously expensive.
Yeah, the same lineups. Like, people used to travel to see these lineups, and now they don't have to because it.
Yeah. Well, the worst part is all these companies put the bands under contract that they can't play actual.
Yeah, within like 200 miles.
Yeah, they
of
can't
anything.
play actual shows in LA. So like so many bands only play one show
All
in LA.
mission
It's like
objectives met.
Coachella or some other
Way to make me proud.
and they
I've heard
never
of the
play a
war
show
on
in an actual
comedy,
venue.
but
So
this
the only
is
way to
ridiculous.
see that one band, if you want to, is to pay festival prices to go walk like 10 miles in the sun and watch them.
Or be a secret show because that's how they get around it.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to different weird headlines. Next one is Trump's first new media briefing. Influencers who spent 7 days convinced the news.
Yeah, we haven't dug into this much on the show, but yeah, they got Tim Pool at the White House. They got
With
a
the
bunch.
beanie on. He's got the beanie
Yeah,
on.
of course he is. You wouldn't recognize him without it. And it's Tim Pool and a bunch of just absolute brain broken freaks who all rely on like Elon Musk Twitter verification for income now. But one of them is some person who like a year ago during a new moon phase was like,
I thought that was supposed to be a
like,
new
why
moon.
is no one talking about the fact that the moon has disappeared? Like, as if this is like, I can't even. I'm like, okay, let's start. Okay, you don't see the moon for a few days. What do you think that means? What could that mean?
I would love to see if
Do you
they have
think
any
they're
other
hiding the moon from us?
what other object permanence issues this person has.
But like, if the moon did in fact disappear,
It's called a new moon, right?
how would that work?
Well, it just shows
It's called
like
the
just
shadow of the
a
earth,
basic
right?
misunderstanding of just everything. Because if the moon was gone, he wouldn't be alive to realize that the moon was gone.
Yeah, the things would happen. Horrible apocalyptic things would happen if there was no moon.
You'd be underwater.
Anyway, these briefings, these
I did see that Big Balls was in on one the other day.
Oh, he was?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's very similar to
Oh,
like
cool.
these briefings that Putin has
Broccoli-headed
in Russia.
fucking
where,
freaks.
He just like only calls on his sycophants.
Yeah.
So you got like people being like, can I ask, like, you know, is the administration like considering maybe going after the Obamas legally? And they're like,
we're thinking
he's
about
like,
it.
yeah, maybe we will.
Everything's on the table. By the way, White House spokesperson, you know, the
Time
age
to
gap
get our
relationship
hands
one.
dirty,
She
Black Ops.
got
Get to
pregnant
work.
outside of wedlock.
Wait, what?
What is going on?
The old man knocked her up?
Before they were married.
We should stone her.
I can't believe that. How am I the one with some kind of weird, like, I don't give a fuck.
She's not a Christian.
If that's your whole fucking thing, like, come on.
Well, in her defense, she didn't have sex ed. She had abstinence-only education.
True.
And when that didn't work, well, that's where baby come from.
Yeah.
RFK Jr. rejects cornerstone of health science, germ theory.
Yeah, I assume that on principle in general. If you tell me anything about RFK and how he's running right now, I'm gonna believe it because he's a fucking nut.
Yeah, this isn't even like news. It's just someone finally looked into he's written so many books over the years.
Yeah.
And someone like looked into one of the books and he wrote a whole chapter on how germ theory is not real. Absolutely real. The previous theory that germ theory is implanted, which is miasma theory. So he also believes that like in the four humors. And yeah, the man's a fucking quack.
Yeah.
It is a travesty. Out of all of the people that Trump appointed, it is a tight race, but this guy is clearly like it's not even just that he's unqualified, he's anti-qualified.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Launching UAV.
When you look at Linda McMahon running the Department of Education, I guess the only one that makes sense in the most evil way possible is Tom Homan running
his job. He's an evil man running an evil branch of government.
Yeah. Who's got all of his little hands full.
Yeah, I mean, Linda McMahon, at least they're honest that like, her running the Department of Education, the whole point of it is to destroy the Department of Education. RFK, if he had come out and just straight up
probably
said,
should not be operating
I'm going to
heavy
run Health and Human Services in order to make America less healthy, then he'd at least be telling the truth. But he's saying he's making America healthy again.
This is a weird career pivot for me.
Fine conversations we made out about like because he loves the real sugar in the. And it's like, Why do you think that there's? I just like ask, like, why do you think that there's corn syrup in American? Like, it just led to a whole thing where it's just like, yes, if the RFK came in, like, there was some things that people can agree with, where he wants to get rid of certain food additives and stuff, and it's like, okay, that's an okay idea. Yeah. Getting rid of like medical advertisements on TV, okay. But he like says those things and then immediately is mishandling a measles outbreak, a bird flu outbreak, and he's telling people things that are factually untrue about how to be healthy. It just is. He's really leaning into the worst ideas possible.
Push through!
Yeah, he's like, you know what? It's all done. Instead of worrying about, you know, the things that might have bipartisan support, I'm going to put a whole team on figuring out how vaccines are actually bad for you. And we're going to have this thing figured out by September.
Thought there'd be less running. That's on me, though.
Canada's conservative leader, Pierre Poilievre, loses his own seat in election collapse. We didn't get to we talked about Canada elections on Monday, I think, but
yeah, the results were still coming in.
They were still coming in, but by Tuesday it was clear that
Operator
Pierre Poilievre,
establishing scores.
the leader of the Conservative Party, who was just like a month earlier assumed to be the next Prime Minister of Canada, no longer has any role in politics because he lost. Like he could have remained in government as a member of Parliament. He can't. He lost his seat. He's done. He's done.
The vibe shift was unlike anything I've seen in quite a while up there in Canada.
And he has no one to thank but Donald Trump. He had this shit locked down.
I'm very proud of Canada for what, if nothing else, showing that when faced with a person like Trump down south, they actually are like, oh God, this could actually happen here. Because they were on track for different things to happen. And then they saw what that could lead to and said, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, I always say, like, their
field upgrade. Not
this
good.
is not derogatory, but their primary cultural thing about them is that they are not American, and they are very proud of that.
Yeah.
And if they feel like they're becoming American, it's like, oh,
Firing Archangel.
It's setting off red flags. Alarms are going off. We cannot become like those lunatics south of our border.
In America, you can't trust someone with two first names because I saw a lot of talk about how they should not elect a person with an alliterative name.
Oh, pee-pee.
Yeah. So maybe that's a cultural difference, but something that maintains the order, you know? Jail locks down after convicted killer goes missing for 12 hours. Then cops realize they forgot him at the courthouse. Well, oops.
Boys will be boys.
Well, I can assure you
it's a
that
code red.
It probably, certainly, only sucked for the inmates. The cops were like, "Oh, fiddlesticks."
I mean, I think this was like so egregious that a few of the cops did get like demoted, because they just left this guy. Also, the guy who was left in court,
Not made for this. I do
he was in a cell that's like not designed for overnights, so he had to like sleep on the cold floor, didn't eat. Yeah, it's just bad all around. They could have figured this out in less than 12 hours.
Yeah. It seems like you would just kind of, the first thing, it would be like, retrace your steps.
Yeah, you don't call 911 when you lose your keys.
Yeah.
You take a breath and you retrace your steps.
Yeah.
Where were the keys the last time I saw them?
Yeah, especially like with two people on the case. Let's put our brains together and really.
Yeah, this was a lot.
Okay, we did two things today. We went to the courthouse and the jail. And honestly, this is probably what happened. They probably stopped.
This was not in my contract,
right?
Well, let's pretend that we took him to the prison and he somehow got lost.
Whoa, we better lock the prison down because we definitely had this guy. It is certainly not our incompetence. Definitely the incompetence of the people who work at the jail.
Yeah.
Anyways, good luck, everyone. We've got more cases to solve.
We're going back. Turkish terror, 25,000 kids, involuntary die, 20-ton cannabis burn. This happens every couple years. It's the most amateur shit. The cops, they'll put the weed in a big old pile and light it on fire to be like, this is what we think of crime. And they don't realize that, like, that shit's gonna be burning for days. The smoke being at ground level means it's gonna be wafting fucking everywhere, and it's gonna be getting everyone high as shit.
You've done the opposite of what you claim to be wanting to do, which is not people not getting hot.
They had special furnaces for drug seizures, and it was a big fucking tower.
I'm here
with,
to
like,
answer
a
the Call
shitload
of
charcoal
Duty.
built in.
Call of
Also,
Duty.
that smoke
Call
up
of-
in the air as quickly as possible.
Look, just fucking do any, like bury it. Like who the fuck is gonna dig up nasty weed and try to smoke it? And if they do, you know what? Go nuts.
I hope I don't
so
die.
easy
That would
by
be
just
super
doing nothing.
not good.
Burning it is exactly what
Enemy
you're
UAV
supposed to do.
inbound.
I would compost it.
Yeah, there you go.
That's perfect as good organic material right there. You could get some great soil going with all that.
The worms, they lose a little bit of motivation, but we don't hold it against
Yeah, the worms, they're a little slower. They're a little bit more chill.
What the fuck's going on This was not
brings them to the surface. $800,000 in dimes spills onto North Texas Highway. The new dime square.
That's, yeah, a lot of dimes. I had to go and like do the formulas. I did the math. $1,000 in dimes is 100
Get a UAV in the air.
So that's a heavy spill.
You roll by this is like money falls off a truck, and at this point you just look at it and go,
Not worth the effort.
hostile sighted.
Yeah, it's not like when like cash falls out and people like just grabbing bills. Like,
Hey,
pick
it's
it
on the
up.
way, Vol!
Even $1 worth of dimes. It's like, dude, you gotta do that 20 times. You get $1.
Hey, it's...
you feel good after you've done a little exercise.
Yeah.
Really loosened up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have my dad here now. I have fucking loose change everywhere. I've never had change in so long. If anything, it's like if I use cash,
All operators to your nearest ACP. We just got our ass
get to drive a
like
tank.
he'll set it
Is that
down
a
on like a
thing?
countertop or something like that. I'm finding it in different parts of like the kitchen. Yeah, it's change. But hey, now I have nothing to worry about with parking meters for a long time.
Yeah, I keep a little coin purse in my car, just filled with quarters.
It's very cute.
Yeah.
Good coin purse.
Yeah, it comes in handy like once a month.
I got a man coin purse. It's leather. It's shaped like it's got a cool shape to it.
Yeah.
It's got a vibe. It's got a stamp on it.
It's actually a coin wallet.
Yeah, if you want to be technical about it, it's pretty masculine. Pretty masculine.
Southwest Airlines passenger allegedly strips naked, poops on plane seat during flight.
They wouldn't get out of the way. I'm trying to make a left turn.
There's no details provided here. It's kind of shocking that not one person on this plane like caught it on video. Not that I really want to see it, but like there's so little detail here. I'm like, I just want to hear how this went down from someone who was there.
This sounds like a probably a mental break.
Yeah,
because you're trapped in an airplane, and
I don't know what it is about
with that.
planes and airports that makes people lose their mind.
It's a miserable experience for anyone who's flying for not the first time in their life.
Yeah.
It's claustrophobic. It's stressful, especially with everything else that's going on right now. I mean, we're literally about to fly into Reagan.
Yeah, I hope someone poops on our plane.
I hope no one's flying a fucking helicopter in the way of it. Like, it's not a really unstressful time to fly. So, you know, shit happens.
Shit happens.
I guess.
Nobody's perfect.
That's right, Elliot. Woman raises $280,000 amid controversy over viral video of her calling a 5-year-old a slur. Cancel culture is alive and well, and it means getting $500,000 or $280,000.
Well, this is from like a day or so ago. I think it's even higher now.
Yeah.
But no, this woman, like a 5-year-old black child who I'm seeing conflicting reports, but might also be autistic.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, like went up to like her diaper bag and started like looking around, and
It's a child.
Yeah, she used that opportunity to call the kid and the kid's father the N-word repeatedly.
And now she's getting paid for it?
As soon as the video that the guy took of it went viral and people figured out who she was, she's like, I need money to relocate. The woke mob is after me. And all of the Nazis came out of the woodwork to give her that money. She is hitting the jackpot. All you got to do is
Free the child. Eliminate all threats.
slurs at a child and then frame yourself as the victim. It's fucking kind of people are like, oh, this isn't a racist country.
Come on, you're losing this fight.
Definitely some serious shit happening all the time. If you're open your mind to see stuff like that, as racist.
I'm here to answer the calls of duty. Call of duty. The calls of duty.
The kerning on the Pope's tomb is a travesty. And they're not wrong. They fucked up. Well, so like, kerning is the distance between letters.
Yeah.
They use like a, classic like Times New Roman font. And the A, basically they did equal spacing between letters. But, so it's Franciscus, R-A-N. The A, you want the A to be closer to the other letters. Otherwise, it looks like just it leaves a big fucking gap in there. And people are
That's a visual, not metric, or whatever the thing is on Photoshop.
they're just really baffled that. Like, I know he asked for like a cheap grave, but they really cheaped out.
Hey, look, it really sends the message.
Yeah.
We skimped on every aspect of it. And luckily, it's not carved in there or something cheaply.
I mean, it is carved in there. They can't if they want to fix it, they have to replace the whole goddamn. It is.
Ah. Well, you know what? It fits his vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. Eric Adams asked for photos of cops staring at their phones, and New Yorkers delivered. Oh yeah? Oh.
I mean, this is he's obviously at this point, and yeah,
Does he believe that though?
I don't know. I mean, like, he seemed like he's like, yeah, I keep hearing from good cops that they're pissed off that their coworkers are just playing Candy Crush on the job for 8 hours, not doing anything. So, like, I don't know. I haven't seen it personally, but if anyone from New York seen this, you be sure to send that to my office. And just, like, everyone. Like, literally, I've seen more cops in New York on their phones than not on their phones.
Yeah.
It's literally the first thing you see when you get into any subway station in New York is, like, a dozen cops all
There's an enemy shooter! I will be talking
making really good money.
Well, what do you expect them to do? Everyone throughout history stood around and stared at their phones, Elliot.
Yeah.
That's right.
Curious, what did they do before?
Racially profiled people.
Yeah, like,
stopped and frisked.
There is an argument to be made that the more time these people spend on their phones, the safer the community is.
The issue is that we're paying as taxpayers.
The salaries some of these people are drawing are egregious.
Yeah, if you ever want to...
keep the library open on weekends.
If you ever want to get very frustrated, I mean, look at your own city budget. Like the LA city budget is just
tactical
one of the most absurd visualizations that you could ever see. Yeah, it's like, here's a bunch of good stuff, like parks and keeping the city clean and, you know, rehabilitation of buildings, anything.
Police!
Yeah, and then it's Pac-Man eating that because the Pac-Man is the fucking police in the lawsuit.
Push through!
It's the same with the U.S. federal budget.
Oh, I see you. This is a weird career
And then
pivot
there's
for
Social
me.
Security, and then there's just a tiny little slice of the pie for everything else.
Anyways, that's it for this episode. We will be back in a couple of days. And we will see you then. But in the meantime, please support the channel, click the join button or anywhere else. And, of course, the like button. Leave a comment. Talk about anything we spoke about today or whatever. Doesn't matter. Make sure you subscribe, and we will see you soon. Bye-bye. Bye.
I gotta watch this one about what's his face.
It's undeniable that positions of power attract those hungry to exploit it.
Enemy
The
field
prospect of
upgrade.
being a police officer, while attractive to those with the best intentions, also have the potential to give bad actors a free pass to hurt innocent people, both verbally and physically. But a very select few who crave this power decide to forego the standard 4 weeks of the police academy and just illegally pretend to be police officers instead. You might be surprised to learn that this is not an uncommon issue by any means, with dozens of hours of footage online showcasing various civilians illegally masquerading as law enforcement. However, one individual has managed to stand out above the rest.
Do you want to be a cop, or do you want to appear to be a cop?
Do it.
It's an honest question. A lot of guys want to appeal to be cops and gun bags and then they're on TV.
Over here now! Pull your car here now! Move your fucking car! Right here!
You gonna let a bunch of company assholes beat you? Fight back, damn it! RTB, Black Ops. We need to have a fucking conversation.
Are you on shrooms? Am I on shrooms?
Jeremy to wait. That's it.
Bye-bye.
This is 4 hours. No, oh, I'm sorry. No, it's just an hour. I thought it was 4 hours for a second.
In which he would spend his nights at the police academy and his days with the local Orange County Police Explorers program. This program allows teens and young adults to receive early training and experience in preparation for a future career in law enforcement. It was clear that Jeremy was eager to get his foot in the door. However, with his involvement in day-to-day police duties, to facilitate traffic and crowd control, and of course a snappy official police officer's uniform, it's likely that Jeremy felt he had already achieved his dream. That explains why, before he even had a chance to officially enter the academy, an 18-year-old Jeremy was arrested for impersonating a police officer on May 18th, 1998. After pulling into a gas station, Jeremy filled his car up with $14.50 of gasoline. Jeremy's prepaid mobile card was declined when he attempted to pay for the gas, and supposedly he had no other means to pay. Naturally, the gas station attendant requested the standard issue gas card that's given to all Florida police officers, but Jeremy said he left it at home. On the principle that he was a police officer, he pledged to return later, which the attendant allowed. And as a show of goodwill, Jeremy even gave the gas station employee his full name, address, date of birth, and phone number. However, he never returned. So the attendant called the police, and Jeremy was arrested a few days later. It probably wasn't a great idea to give his personal information to the clerk of the store he was robbing, but whatever. $14.50 is the price that Jeremy was unwilling to pay to not completely destroy his life. Had he simply not stolen from the gas station that day, he likely would have continued on his path to become a cop. But after committing this felony offense, Jeremy was completely ineligible to ever be a real police officer. But this wouldn't deter him from pursuing his dream. He sought out alternatives, such as working as a security guard at an apartment complex where he apparently was reported for illegally detaining and searching one of the residents. This job didn't seem to be too fulfilling for him, however, as he felt his true calling was to protect and serve the public. So he continued to impersonate law enforcement for the foreseeable future. However, this behavior would catch up with him when he was arrested on August 29th, 2001 for, you guessed it, impersonating law enforcement. You see, earlier that day, Jeremy arrived at a local mechanic with what looked like an unmarked police cruiser. He told an employee at the mechanic to bill the Orange County Sheriff's Department for the car's repairs, implying that it was, in fact, an unmarked police car. He also claimed that a mark on the side of the vehicle was the result of an altercation in which he was attempting to detain a criminal at the scene of a crime. Most damning, Jeremy supposedly directly confirmed he was indeed a cop and was working undercover at the local mall. During the inspection, the mechanic observed that the car had all the bells and whistles you would expect, with a working police radio and lights. Jeremy was also wearing what is described as a police-like uniform and a bulletproof vest. But one curious bystander who witnessed the interaction became suspicious and called the police. When questioned by actual police officers, Jeremy denied ever claiming to be a cop himself, but he was insistent that the investigators didn't look at his criminal record, which would obviously show that he had a history of impersonation. Not only would they find his previous arrest from the gas theft, but also an instance in 1999 when he was arrested for using a fake name on his driver's license and was carrying a concealed weapon. Even 4 months prior, he had been issued a citation for the use of flashing red and blue lights on his vehicle. Jeremy was on probation at the time due to his previous arrests, and the investigating officers promptly contacted his probation officer, who explicitly stated that Jeremy was indeed violating his probation. During a search of his car, which Jeremy consented to, the officers found police-style equipment like clipboards and radios. They also found a gun bag holder, which had a Dade County Sheriff's badge, a security badge, a knife, and various license plates. Then they searched his apartment and found law enforcement paraphernalia like batons, badges, patches, and police belts. One of these belts contained a holster with a black BB gun inside of it. All of this gave them probable cause to arrest Jeremy for violating his probation, as clearly he was still pretending to be law enforcement. He was found guilty and ordered to serve 1 year in the Orange County Jail, as well as being required to attend mental health counseling. He was also given 3 years of probation after his jail time and ordered to do 250 hours of community service. On top of that, his probation specifically required him not to possess any law enforcement officer equipment, meaning that his days of police impersonation were over. At least, they should have been over. After a year in the slammer, Jeremy was itching to protect and serve. In 2003, he was arrested for violating his community control control, which is basically a stricter version of probation, and as a result, he was sentenced to 22 months in jail. Before he could officially be convicted of that crime, however, a warrant was issued for his arrest after multiple failures to pay traffic tolls, driving with a suspended license, as well as using a fake name on a driver's license, and the possession of a fraudulent identity card. Now, this fraudulent card in question had his name listed as Brett Eldon Solomon, which some of you in the audience may have noticed is not actually Jeremy's name. Brett was actually his roommate at the time. Jeremy had stolen his social security number and produced not only a fake ID, but also a fake passport with his name. This guy is addicted to identity theft. Ultimately, Jeremy was sentenced to 10 months in prison, which was the remaining time of his previous sentence after his 1 year and 64-day credit he already had for time served. Now, I know that the guy who pretends to be a police officer obviously has no problem doing illegal stuff, but it is really impressive how someone masquerading as a cop is so comfortable breaking the law. What this conundrum likely boils down to is that his desire to be a cop didn't come from a noble sense of protecting the peace, but instead it's just a free pass to do whatever he wants and a thirst for power. However, if you thought that Jeremy's blatant disregard for the law couldn't get any worse, you are sorely mistaken. For the majority of 2004, Jeremy managed to stay out of trouble, but he would once again find himself in scalding hot water in October of that year. And now 24-year-old Jeremy went out to a nightclub in Orlando, where he met a young woman who supposedly claimed to be 18 years old. They hooked up that night and met up again in November of that year. It all seemed fine until January of 2005, when a warrant was issued for his arrest for 2 charges of unlawful interactions with a minor. Apparently, the girl had lied about her age and was actually only 15. Now, whether Jeremy knew about this or not is uncertain, but the court did seem to believe there was enough evidence to warrant a conviction, as Jeremy ultimately chose to withdraw his original not guilty plea and instead accept a deal. The judge ruled he was guilty on 1 count of lewd or lascivious battery on July 20th, 2005. He was originally facing 15 years in prison, but instead he got off with a 1 year and 1 day sentence, also being sentenced to 5 years of sex offender probation. Jeremy served his time and was able to stay out of trouble for a few years after the fact. However, in April of 2009, a warrant for his arrest was issued due to him violating his probation again, something he would admit to during his hearing on June 18th of that year. Facing another 8 years in prison, Jeremy's luck hadn't run out yet, and he was only forced to serve 4. As it turns out, he was trying to set up a junior varsity airsoft team full of minors, which he was not supposed to do, as part of his probation rested on the fact that he didn't engage with anyone under the age of 18. Despite habitually finding himself in and out of prison over the last 10 years, Jeremy was not deterred. There was no wake-up call or moment of clarity that helped him get his act together. He still wanted everything he couldn't have, specifically legally protected power, and he needed a way to achieve it. He couldn't become an actual police officer, and flat out lying about being one would send him right back to jail. He needed to find a loophole, and one fateful day, it appears he had an epiphany. In a video uploaded to his own personal YouTube channel, Jeremy actively breaks Section 316-306 of Florida state law by recording himself while operating a moving vehicle. Ironically, something he would probably harass someone else for if he got the opportunity. Petty nitpicking aside, he tells the story of the moment he found a way to exercise his power fantasy. One day, Jeremy was walking down the street with his wife. And yes, by the way, this guy somehow managed to find a woman willing to actually marry him. So enough out of you incels out there, okay? Anyone can find love. But more on his wife later. On their walk, they noticed a funeral escort service on the street. A funeral escort, for those unaware, is a service that provides guidance and protection for funeral processions as they cross through intersections and traffic lights. While blocking off traffic at the intersection near Jeremy and his wife, one of the traffic lights turned green, and a car outside of the procession mistakenly began driving through instead of waiting like they were supposed to. This caused a massive accident, which Jeremy described as very severe. He supposedly rushed to the aid of one of the passengers in the crash and called emergency services to have them rescued.
When that happened, I stepped back and said to myself and my wife, I can do this better. I know that I can do it better. I know that somebody should have always been there. I know that we should be following, or they should be following, EVOC procedures.
Whether or not this story is true is not for me to say. However, I will say that I doubt that Jeremy's main concern at that time was upholding the pristine funeral escort services. Rather, he likely saw a profession in which he would be granted legal authority to use flashing lights sirens, uniforms, and legally dictate the flow of traffic. It was the closest thing to a police officer that he could possibly be. This one event birthed the creation of Metro State Special Services in 2011. You might be asking, why did Jeremy choose the name Metro State? Well, it could have something to do with the fact that it's a combination of the terms Metro Police and State Police, but that's just my 2 cents. If the eerily police-like name isn't enough, consider how good it would look on a repurposed police cruiser, or a black and white motorcycle covered in police lights. Or perhaps consider the completely unnecessary funeral escort badge each quote-unquote motor officer is issued, which looks nearly identical to a standard issue police badge. I could go on and on with the comparisons, but I think you get the idea.
We got dual speakers in the front for louder air horning, multiple front lights, corner lights, side lights, 45-degree angle lights, and that's all for the reason of intersections. You know, you got to make sure the intersection knows that you're there. As you see, the lights are purple.
Jeremy had found a legal loophole, and he purchased 2 cars to begin his work. He also enlisted the help of his younger brother, Dylan, to assist him in his operations. Dylan shares more than just blood relations with his older brother, as he also has a propensity for crime. Both of the brothers would find themselves in legal trouble during their early years as funeral service escorts, with a plethora of traffic citations between the 2 of them. Dylan also managed to find himself placed on the sex offender registry for nearly the same exact crime as his brother Jeremy. Dylan was caught flirting with and sending graphic imagery to who he believed was an underage person, but was actually a local detective conducting a massive sting operation.
Why don't you have a seat?
I just need to get home. I'm not doing the show.
Go ahead and take a seat.
But I'm not going to do this.
Take a seat right over there.
But the thing that really united them is their shared passion for funeral service escorting. Right off the bat, they obviously look like police officers, but how does a job like this allow them the same power and control? Well, rather than explaining it to you, I think it's better that I just show it.
Get in the car and move up the wrong side of the road and get to me now. And then when that van gets, come on, wave that guy, come on. When that van, green artillery, get to me now. Get to me now. Move, move, move. Stay on your horn. Stay on your horn. You got movers. Stay on your horn. You got a mover on the left. Blue sedan pulling out right from a blind building. You! Get over now! Get over now! Get over now! Pull over! Hey! Pull your fucking car over! Pull over! Hey! 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 If you pull out of the funeral one more time, you're done. Drive! 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 Drive!
Jeremy
It's like, what are you gonna do?
And other employees frequently engage in speeding, illegally weaving through traffic, and blaring their sirens during what's supposed to be a peaceful funeral service. Not to mention harassing, yelling, and swearing at random drivers for accidentally entering the procession line.
And stay there until we're clear, or I'm gonna take you down myself. Stop your vehicle. I'm not gonna tell you again. Sir, I'm not gonna
Hardpoint locked down.
Stay right fucking there.
Semtex incoming!
Hardpoint located.
Incoming stun!
You lying motherfucker! What'd you call me?
Hardpoint active.
Not realizing that they aren't
Hardpoint.
actually police officers. That being said, some of the people
Hardpoint is secure.
sniff them out almost immediately.
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
Attention, are you okay?
If you're not law enforcement, I'm not stopping.
Real fast.
Identify yourself to me. What agency?
I think it's worth taking the time to
Going out!
According to Florida state law, funeral processions are afforded freedom to pass through intersections as long as the escort arrives at the intersection when the light is still green. If it's red, they are permitted to remain there and prevent
Hardpoint identified.
giving the procession to direct traffic or over, much like median, force
Hardpoint is secure.
traffic to pull over. Basically, they have no legal authority.
Get back here!
Move! Keep going until the procession. That's it. Taking a look at Florida state law and states, a person who falsely assumes or pretends to be a sheriff or officer of the such, or assist him in a matter pertaining to the duty of any
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
of the third degree. The key phrase here is to act as such. We could get into finer details about present himself.
Hard point locked down. Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point located.
Regardless of what they're wearing or how they look.
Hard point is active.
If he is a police officer, he avoids the
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
I know what I'm
Hard point is secure. Hardpoint identified.
Technology. Your ex-wife, your parents.
Hardpoint active. Hardpoint locked down.
Jeremy is more than just a
That's the weirdest fucking merch I've ever seen in my life. Is that Dan Balzerian standing next to him?
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure.
Is he wearing a fake uniform?
I guess they decided to
Hardpoint located.
which likely
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Incoming subjects. For the unaware, Ashley Madison is a dating site designed specifically
Hardpoint is active. Hardpoint is secure.
which references the phrase special force operations. Jeremy began seeking
Net call. Enemy watchdog helo inbound.
Luckily, Jeremy found just what he was looking for. And the two began chatting before exchanging contact details for the private messaging service.
Back on, my leader. Go ahead.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Police equipment and arrived.
Hardpoint identified.
So they settled in at the local Comfort Inn and Suites.
Hardpoint active.
Jeremy had
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
DeWitt. So she variations of the name of Jeremy DeWitt. That's when she discovered
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
it meant that he was pretending to be a cop. Originally claiming his name was in fact Jay. Another complete lie that Jeremy will continue to play.
Hardpoint locked down.
Different side of the story, however. He claimed
Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint located.
the date was in March of 2018. He says they only had
Hardpoint is secure.
the day of their first meet, and they
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint is active.
when Jeremy's wife
Hostiles have the
found out he was giving
hardpoint.
her money, she put an end to it. Shortly after he stopped sending the funds,
Move
he
it!
contacted of that claim. Regardless of what really happened, it's certain that Jennifer decided to call the police. On the 7th of that month, a warrant was issued for his arrest for Conditions as an offender done for his Ashley Addison or his kid.
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
Continue for some time. However, unbeknownst to the courts, Jennifer and Jeremy had already been amends 1 month after his arrest.
Hard point identified.
To either flee to Egypt with his life or take his own life.
Enemy UAV inbound.
After learning of his
Hard point active. Hard point locked down.
for Metro State headquarters.
Hostiles at the hard point. Hard point is secure.
Assaulted her inside of it. The police
Hostiles have captured the hard point.
a controlled phone call in which Jennifer would call Jeremy.
Your tactics aren't working. Find another way.
A woman by the name of Jessica. Jennifer claimed to have not known who Jessica was, yet surprisingly, Jennifer was
Hardpoint locked down.
A restraining order against Jeremy just a day before she called the police about the assault. On the 6th of February,
Hardpoint located.
Jeremy's pending case.
Hardpoint is active. Hostiles at the hardpoint.
Of sexual assault. Shortly after, Jeremy accepted a plea deal of 1 year of community control. Mover! But ultimately was sentenced to only 30 days, with 23 days already served, meaning he spent 1 whole week in jail before becoming able to figure out Jennifer had become jealous when she discovered
Hardpoint identified.
It appears that after Jennifer learned about her jealous.
Hardpoint active.
Both Jeremy and Jessica seem to believe that Jennifer is responsible
Hardpoint
for
locked down.
a CPS call against her as well. This anonymous CPS caller claimed that Jessica was doing drinking and also
Start requesting LDBR. Crack on when the eyes overhead.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure.
Enemy spring mine!
Probably some form of mentally ill in a manner that somehow makes Jeremy DeWitt look pretty normal. Which
Hardpoint
is
located.
Jennifer herself has a long history with law enforcement. In March of 2018, her own grandmother.
We're winning. Keep it that way. Hardpoint is active.
She also claims that Jennifer has a long history of filing false police reports, including unspecified accusations she made against her grandmother. Jessica, on the other hand, is a bit...
All units prepare for exfil. This one's ours.
...relationship with a guy like Jeremy. However, she was well aware of Jeremy's propensity to get involved with law enforcement. In fact, she was even present for a verbal confrontation between Jeremy and questioning his apparel and his intentions. However, Jeremy makes a notable claim while arguing.
Fuck them!
Are you clear for that? Sir, what's your GS level? Because I know what my military level was, my classification. Okay, we don't need to go through.
Jeremy claims he can recall his military level, implying that he served in the military. That's because Jeremy likes lying about more than just his police force.
What military were you in? Army. Army? So was I. Where were you stationed? I was Army and then I was Bragg. I was originally a Ranger battalion at a Benny, and then I was Bragg. Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you for your service. Thank you.
wow. That's why I left the Army. I had a streamer. My riser popped when I was going into Fallujah.
Jeremy even claims that he was jump certified and parachuted into the Second Battle of Fallujah, a very famous battle in the Iraq War that took place in November of 2004. We know this isn't the case for two reasons. Number one, that would conflict with the timeline of his encounter with the 15-year-old girl that ultimately put him on the sex offender registry. And number two, a Freedom of Information request was made and revealed that there is no evidence of Jeremy serving in the military at all. On top of that, while it's not impossible, it's pretty difficult for felons to be allowed to join the military. Despite this chaotic string of events, Jeremy once again found himself a free man. Of course, he still hadn't learned from his mistakes and would continue blurring the line between funeral escort and a badass crime stopper. But before he could get arrested for that, he would have the police called on him during a domestic disturbance in June of 2019. While on vacation in Chicago with his wife, the two stayed in an Airbnb. Jeremy had the cops called on him after he was seen throwing metal chairs off of the 6-story balcony, something he claims to have done in order to get the attention of a tow truck driver he had called to tow his car.
Do me a favor, turn around. Hold on. Wrap your hand behind your back.
Domination. Go time. Capture the objective.
Hold a weapon on. What are you guys doing?
Secure at C.
Where's my badge?
Take and B.
I have my badge, my information in the corner. Yes. Okay, give us one.
Charlie secure. Bravo zone secure.
Stop him first.
Jeremy was placed in handcuffs and eventually placed in the back of a cruiser. He lied to the police and told them he was a cop,
Nice.
which the
I'm
arresting
pulling
officers
ahead.
took his word on in good faith. This lie is also why they chose to do Jeremy a solid and offered that under the condition that he apologized directly to the tow truck driver, they would not officially book him. Jeremy promised that he would quote-unquote eat humble pie and simply apologize, but he seemingly refused to truly take accountability during his half-hearted apology.
I am sorry. I didn't know who you were at first, and then when you're trying to hook up, I'm screaming down. You heard me screaming. I was trying to stop you from doing it because we're allowed to be there.
Get a UAV on grid.
Communication errors happening. How these people are calling the police or the towing. I mean, your dispatch. I understand you're just doing your job. But when you pulled the screwdriver, I'm worried about my wife's safety. What do you mean pull the screwdriver?
He's not pulling the screwdriver to attack anyone. Why would he?
I'm gonna press it because you're lying on me. I never saw your wife. All right.
Calm down.
Stop.
Listen to me for a minute. Do you think he'd actually pull a screwdriver on a woman? Come on. She's like a quarter of the size.
Yes.
That's silly.
I'm sorry. All right, brother. I swear I am sorry.
We got to do the report. You got to cover that damage for him.
Jeremy may have managed to dodge any tangible repercussions this time, but a few months later, it would be a different story. On September 7th, 2019, Jeremy was arrested once again, but this time it was during business hours, and the entire thing was recorded on an actual officer's body cam for us to see.
Sergeant, my vehicle's not stolen, Sergeant. I can tell you right now, everything's being videotaped on my body cam, Sergeant. Okay, you're that's not a firearm, Sergeant. Hey, officers, I'm getting this all on video camera. And I can promise you, this isn't going to go the way you're planning.
2 days later, Jeremy gave an interview to a local news network where he demanded a letter of apology and a suspension for the officers involved. He also voiced concerns on how this arrest might negatively affect his business and said that arresting him during a funeral service was in poor taste.
At no point should I ever been pulled over. At no point should I have ever been put in handcuffs. At no point should I ever been stripped of my gear in public while the funeral that I worked for was passing by. So now my business is going to suffer. Definitely going to want some kind of suspension and definitely a letter of apology.
It also appears that Jeremy was nearly arrested about a week later after an off-duty deputy sheriff noticed Jeremy and his team holding up traffic at an intersection. Supposedly, Jeremy approached the man, unaware that he was a cop, and began harassing him. Jeremy physically hit the man's car, put his hand on his gun holster, and began yelling profanities at him. All the while, the man's wife and 4-year-old child were in the back seat. Jeremy was, for some reason, not arrested for this. However, one of his employees ran Randall Brocchius, real name by the way, was arrested for having an actual 9mm handgun on his belt.
What kind of weapon is that?
It's a 1911.
It's a regular handgun?
Yes, sir.
Okay, do you have your, what do you have to carry that weapon openly in the state of Florida?
I have a G license.
G license, but the problem is this is not a security company.
Okay.
So by the law, you're under arrest.
Randall has a short history of similar incidents himself related to openly displaying a firearm in public. Jeremy also had the cops called on him on the 26th of September. That's right, 3 times in 1 month alone. But who's counting? A woman called the police on him after seeing him directing traffic and believed he was impersonating a police officer, which he was, although it doesn't appear he received any legal consequences for this. 1 month later, Jeremy was arrested again, this time for the same charge as his previous arrest. Only a few weeks after that, on November 15th, 2019, he was arrested again for, I mean, you can probably guess. He robbed an ice cream truck.
We're hearing from the local ice cream truck driver who was robbed by 3 young children in the Skyline area.
No, I'm kidding. Okay, it was it was impersonating a police officer. If I'm counting properly, that's at least 5 different documented encounters with the cops in the span of 2.5 months. Now, is this because Jeremy was becoming increasingly negligent and belligerent in his work as time progressed? Well, that's almost certainly a factor. But the main reason for all of these arrests and verbal warnings is due to the police cracking down on his little operation. Corporal John Ramsey and Sergeant Keith Vidler were both tasked with finding a way to put Jeremy behind bars for good. The best way to describe the dynamic between Jeremy and Sergeant Vidler in particular is that of mortal enemies. Jeremy directly claimed that Sergeant Vidler had been targeting and harassing him and his employees. Jeremy specifically believed the influx in recent arrests was due to this harassment campaign. He specifically said in his interview with the local news, "The fact that we were running our business for 10 years with no problems, and then all of a sudden now it keeps happening over and over, it's a little confusing and very discerning." This doesn't seem to be entirely true, as Jeremy was pulled over by the aforementioned Corporal John Ramsey in 2015 for his illegal use of an air horn. Although there is a bit of truth to what Jeremy claims. From 2009 to 2018, the sheriff of Orange County was Jerry Demings, and Jeremy was only arrested twice during his reign. Once for failure to register as a sex offender, and once for violating his probation. But anything to do with his work at Metro State never resulted in an arrest. It was only when Jeremy Demings was elected mayor of Orange County and John Mina became Orange County's new sheriff that things began to change. And even Jeremy himself has said as much. This has led some people to believe that perhaps
Enemy throwing stun.
Hardpoint locked down.
Eyes on hostile subject.
Up the hardpoint.
charges on Jeremy. 5 counts of fraud.
Hardpoint located.
And 1 charge of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. All felonies. All of these charges.
Hardpoint active. At the hardpoint. Hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure.
While investigating, they found a file titled Jay's.
Chef, you need to log off. I'm getting a little tired. I'll be on tomorrow. Love you.